All right, everybody, welcome back to Risen Esports Friday Draft League for the summer. I am Willie, and today I will be play-by-playing once again, joined by my friendly co-caster Zyduck.
Hello.
Is that Willie the goat? Yeah, hilarious. So our two teams today, we got Censored versus Team Chill. Both of these teams are doing pretty well so far throughout the tournament.
Mhm.
Team Chill actually looks like they are undefeated with a 3-0
Yep.
score. We got Censored though, not far behind, only one loss. So both
Mhm.
of these teams are looking pretty good so far. Zyduck, any players on either side that you think we should look out for this game?
Well, The obvious one would be Meeps and Chill, one of the few master players in the tournament. I believe going by ace bets in the game, going to be the jungler, sorry, of We Got Censored. I'm excited to see what kind of leadership and mastery he brings to the team, which has been generally lower ranked, with lower ranks around him. So I want to see how the disparity in the team really plays into the leadership and the style they play, whether they're funneling into him or whether he tries to uplift the rest of his teammates. So I'll be curious to see where we go there.
Yeah, I think it'll be interesting,
Mm-hmm.
especially the fact that according to what we have here on our little document spreadsheet here, he's going to be jungling, and
Yeah.
doesn't seem like he's a jungler in solo queue. He
No,
looks to be
yeah,
a
support main.
support. Yeah, so we're gonna have to see if on the other side, if they could get the advantage there, maybe they've got a little bit more knowledge
Mm-hmm.
of their role, and they can take advantage of that somehow. But moving on from that, talking about the draft, I do see that on Meeps's team, he does have some people that have some very strong champion preferences.
Yeah,
Their top laner, very heavily favoring the
yeah,
Urgot.
loves the Argyle.
Their support, very much a Thresh player. So I do think we are going to see some target bans against
Mm-hmm.
them. On the other side of the aisle, they're a little bit more well-rounded. Their support
Yeah.
does play a lot of Xerath. We could see a Xerath ban. But other than those three, I do think that they've got some flexibility on either
Mm-hmm.
side. So we're going to see what they decide to do. Let me click on the link here. Uh,
Yeah.
they're setting up the drafts right now. Anything you want to talk about before they get into it?
Yeah, it's just gonna be. This is one of the first games. This is the first game we streamed on the new patch, so there's a bit of a meta shift. We've seen Nico be tagged in this patch along with Static Ship, which are two things which we've really saw take over in the past few weeks. Nico especially did seem like um, a champ with a lot of presence and could make a lot of impact, especially in these messier draft games that we've been seeing. And Static Shift was just OP all over, solo queue, pro play, amateur leagues. It was just a completely busted item, and that's been brought down a little bit into tune. So yeah, it'll be exciting how people like to mix up their drafts, seeing some more champions in the mid lane than Nico and Annie, which it felt like we were seeing picked almost every game, didn't it?
Yeah, I'm hoping to maybe not see the Nico this series. It seemed
Yeah.
like a super strong pick last time. That
Uh-huh.
for the last couple of weeks, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But did they actually nerf her damage, or was it just that camouflage thing? I'm misremembering a little bit.
They nerfed just like it's a bit of damage off the W passive, I
A little
believe,
bit.
and then it was the R, and then it was Q cooldown nerf. So it's not massive things,
All right, but
but
we'll
I
have to
think.
see if they put any prio on it, as we are getting into the
Mhm.
draft here, seeing some bands coming through already. We've got Kindred band down on one side and Tristana answered on the other, and Zaya for the third. Oh man, they're going fast.
Yeah, it's struggling to get a word in here. But
Man,
yeah, I think there's Zaya and Tristana with definitely the fall of some of the hype carries like Aphelios and Jinx in the past few patches. I think Tristana, Zaya, some of the uh, maybe more lane priority AD carries have been rising as we finish the draft with Seraphine, finished the bans with Seraphine and Viego banned.
man,
So it's
these are some interesting bands because I
yeah,
didn't see any of these six bands incoming at all. It's not at all
no.
what I was expecting from either team. It's pretty interesting. So I'm thinking maybe both of these teams have some
Mm-hmm.
plans for their draft that we're going to see unfolding
Yeah,
here in the
it's
first few
Ari
picks here.
first picked. It's a very classic safe mid laner, which most mid laners are proficient on in the solo queue and can make priority plays over the map, can get the wave clearing. So it's a replacement to some of these static ship mid laners. I've seen it quite often where they pick this Ari, they can get that control, get that pressure, have that safe line. So very, and there's the Thresh coming out.
Yeah, the
So,
Thresh, exactly what I was
mhm,
expecting from their support, if not
yep,
banned. This guy's got 100 games of Thresh.
mhm,
His next most played is in the 20s. So if it's
yeah,
open, he's probably going to be pick it. It's a nice versatile pick. It's got pretty good engage, peel.
mhm,
You've got the lantern. It's just
yeah.
got all the tools that you could ever want. It's always a good blind pick. So if it's open, he's going to be picking it.
There's the Annie picked up alongside. I said it got tagged a bit on this patch, but obviously it's still a very strong champion, has guaranteed setup, and can just guarantee that CS and stay safe in the lane. There's the Xerath picked up on the other side.
It looks
More
like
of
both
these.
teams are leaning towards their comfort picks
Mm-hmm.
here in the first round because neither team really targeted the other one. Neither team
Yeah,
banned out, said, here's the player who's got a preferred pick, let's ban that out.
I
So
would like to see.
everyone seems to be getting what they want so far.
I'd like to see maybe the Urgot. It's not been banned away here at all, so maybe they do feel comfortable just picking up this Urgot. Although maybe sometimes you want to leave it blind. There's Hecarim picked up. That's not something we've seen very often,
No, but I
if
do know
at all recently.
it should be pretty strong right now in the
Mm-hmm.
meta. The especially the Duskblade build.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, he's really running around getting one shots off, and
And there's
then he's
another
able to.
Duskblade builder on the other side there in that
Oh,
Rengar.
speaking of the Rengar, actually, they targeted him a little bit. They changed around the way Essence Reaver works. It's
Mm-hmm.
got a little
Yeah.
bit more base and less bonus AD scaling.
Mm-hmm.
So theoretically, Rengar should be a little bit weaker this patch,
Yeah.
but we're gonna see if they're able to make it work in this first game here.
Mm. There's a Poppy banned away. It's I think Poppy's a good ban. On the other side, they're banning out these safe tanky top laners, which can just which can nullify each other and get that guaranteed engage. And an MF picked on the other side. No AD carry picked up for either side, so I'm interested to see what direction they go with some of these marksmen here, with quite a few being taken away now.
There's no Urgot ban here either. They're kind
No.
of like they banned out his second pick, the Ornn instead. They're
Mm-hmm.
almost daring him to pick that Urgot and
Yeah.
saying we have an answer for it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's Kaiser picked up, and we're going to have to see the top lane blind picked. I would assume Urgot is going to be the direction they go, but maybe they have some other idea. Or am I getting mixed up? Sorry, with what the teams are.
I think it's the red side wants the Urgot.
How is it?
Mhm.
I just in here we have no team names. To my apologies. Aphelios picked up, got tagged on this patch, but it wasn't massive, so it's still a solid hyper carry champion there.
We're gonna have to see what they pair it with. The Kaisa is a rather strong pick nowadays. The
Mhm,
people are often going for sort of hybrid or more AP focused builds, especially with Static Shiv. It is
mhm.
nerfed a little bit, but it's still a very strong pick. I think that's going to be a Shen top
Yes,
and
I
Xerath
would
support. I totally
assume
forgot
so.
they play Xerath support. That's my bad.
Yeah, well, I mean, Ari was already locked in
Yeah,
for
a
the mid lane there, so
little bit of a brain fart from me.
not quite sure how I feel about the Aphelios Seraph lane. Maybe they lack a bit of agency in that early game, and Mordecai's that picked up. So why are they not leaning toward this Urgot? It was by far their most played champ, I thought.
I'm gonna say it's probably because Shen has that ability that blocks auto
Yeah.
attacks. Maybe he
Hmm.
just didn't want to deal with it this game.
Yeah.
So the Urgot left on the bench. We'll see if it comes out later in the series. But both of these teams, the drafts are set. Let's take a look at these drafts real quick. Just from the first glance, anything interesting? Any edge on either side are you seeing here? What do you think?
Well, I think maybe on blue side, they're what they're trying to look for in team fights could be a bit different amongst their champions. But
Hmm.
with this Shen, it really creates an amount of priority for this Hecarim to just run wherever he wants when that Shen hits 6 and look for these dive angles on the bot lane, which I would imagine they would have shoved with Xerath and Philios into Kaita Thresh. I wouldn't imagine it going any other way. So maybe there's a lot of bot dives opportunity for blue side. And red side is obviously just looking for pure pick, pure skirmish. They're trying to find that one and then collapse on with the Thresh hook hitting Kaisa ulting in, Annie ulting. So yeah, I'm not quite sure. I think maybe for what we've seen prior in some of these draft leagues, I do like this draft on the red side there, but I also see the ideas that blue side are trying to conjure together, and I think this could be anyone's game, to be honest.
I do agree with you on both of those parts. I think I'm gonna have to go against that and say that the blue side has a
Hmm.
little bit of a better chance.
Yeah.
I think that if they're able to avoid getting picked off, I would
Hmm.
like to see the Aphelios take cleanse here for sure.
Yes.
If they're able
Yes.
to avoid these picks, these
Hmm.
quick engages into somebody dying instantly, then they're gonna have a much better team fight. I
Yeah.
think they've got a really, really easy and strong engage with the Hecarim and
Hmm.
Shen together. Shen can ult onto the Hecarim and he could
Yeah.
just run into the enemy team just like that. So I think the blue side is going to have a little bit of an easier
Hmm.
time if they do it properly and they don't fall behind, get picked off. I feel like Mordekaiser has not too much of a role in this game. They
Hmm.
should be able to peel their carries away from him a little bit.
Yeah.
Um, even if he's ulting someone like Xerath,
Mhm.
I don't know if he can actually get on top of him even if he ults him, because Xerath has the slow and the stun. Aphelios might just be able to kill him in his ult. I'm not
Yeah.
sure. So I
Especially
think
if it gets into that later game.
yeah. So I
Yeah.
think if they're not able to get a lead early with their
Hmm.
pick comp, that the red team is going to really, really struggle in team fights. They're
Yeah.
going to struggle at objectives, and it's going to be harder and harder for them to close the
Hmm.
game out the longer that it goes.
Yeah.
But
If they really manage to unlock this hacker and get this Aphelios on his items,
mhm,
it can be dangerous. Sometimes Aphelios and Akram just hit a point where they become unstoppable. And then with Ari being able to pill the Aphelios, Shen being able to pill the Aphelios, Hecarim running around the back line, if they do
mhm.
get to that team fight stage, but then it's not all one in the draft. There is definitely opportunities for Red Side to find their picks, to jump on the enemy, with this Rengar. But I do agree that Mordekaiser can be a bit out of this game, especially in team fights. It's impossible for him to get onto anyone, I really feel, unless somebody like grossly mispositions. But even then, do Aphelios and Hecarim have that harder time building QSS if they need to?
I think Aphelios could definitely build
Like,
it.
yeah.
He should take cleanse though, and he should be fine.
Yeah.
Just with his team peeling him.
Mhm.
Honestly, I don't think Hecarim, if he gets an item or two and he gets his a little bit of a lead going, Hecarim
Mhm.
clears very fast, and I think he might just be able to kill Mordekaiser just straight up in his ult. But we're
Yeah.
gonna have to see what happens, who executes their comp better.
Mhm.
We are going to go into a quick break for spectator delay. So don't go anywhere because we'll be right back with game one. All right, welcome back, everybody. We are in game one, and somebody needs to pause this and tell Meeps that he does not have his jungle item.
Oh
Oh
no, oh
no.
no.
Somebody, anybody. I don't think he's gonna realize it. He's
No.
gonna realize it when he doesn't level up off taking his red buff.
Oh
Oh,
no, no,
there's the
he's recalling, he's
reset.
recalling. There you go.
Oh, you know what? It doesn't matter anyway because he was getting that ward down for his Krugs. It's all
Yeah.
good.
He got a swap, yeah, he swapped to the sweeper there, which is a nerf sweeper. Have you been playing and you tried to sweep out a couple bushes, then you realised the sweeper only lasts 6 seconds nowadays, and it's like, was that just me?
Yeah, new sweeper doesn't last very long, but it's got
No.
two charges, so
Yeah,
um, it's
getting a
an
leash from.
interesting change. I mean, I'm not a jungler or a support, so I don't build sweeper very often, but
Uh,
it's very interesting.
uh,
Looks like both junglers are starting red buffs, so Hecarim
mhm.
will be pathing the top lane. He does have the ignite for a little bit extra kill pressure. Could go
Yeah.
pretty good with the Shen taunt. Rengar, not sure if he'll be able to get any ganks off. He might just be full clearing here.
Yeah, I would imagine so. I know he would love to impact this bot lane. He would love to try and get his Kai'Sa ahead of the curve into this Aphelios Xerath lane as a hook. It's nothing much off it. Yeah, it looks like they're both just going to be going to their Krugs. They're both going to be landing the full clear, and I just think it's going to be common pathing up and pathing down. The Hecarim is obviously going to be looking to farm until get to that 6 and a bit high until he gets to those
Ooh,
first items.
hook goes a
It's
little
that
wide.
it's that first base Hecarim's always talk about when they want their tier and their sheen quite often. Um
Oh, yeah, that's a pretty strong combo. I know I'm a Gangplank player, so I always go for that early Sheen.
yeah.
But if you're able to stick it out long enough, you can go Sheen Boots or Sheen Cull, and it
Hmm.
makes for a really strong, really
Yeah.
nice back. A little
Looks
bit of
like
trading all over the board. No
mm,
kills so far yet. Doesn't look
no,
like anyone's committing to anything too hard.
looks like Ari is keeping this shove in the mid wave, so Hecarim's gonna have the pick of the litter when it comes to contesting this top crowd, which obviously I don't think Harengra is going to want to do. They're clearing at similar paces. There's nothing too interesting happening as Kais has priority on the bot side.
I think
Actually, I
what
believe that.
they'd want to do on the red side is probably if you're bot lane here, you let Xerath poke you a little bit, you let
Mhm.
Aphelios push the wave into you, and then you can maybe get your jungler to gank for you here. It looks like that might be what they're doing
Yep.
here after
Lane
Rengar
ganking.
walks into the brush here.
I'm not quite sure if he's shown on vision here.
Don't think so, and this wave does look like it's gonna push,
Mm-hmm.
but I'm uncertain as to if they're gonna
Oh,
step
hook
up. Oh,
hits.
well, the hook lands. Lantern. The flash
Oof.
out from Xerath, but there's nowhere to go, and that's a first blood going over to Rengar. A gank in the top lane. Mordekaiser goes away, and he will live just barely. He does have to teleport to get back to top lane, and that is one kill going over the red side. Uh, Remind me again, Zyda, which side is which? I've blanked.
Um,
I've forgotten.
red side is we got censored, I believe.
Red side is WGC. Red side is
Yep.
WGC. Okay.
Red side is WGC. Yeah.
Oh, the flash forward,
Flash.
getting the cleanse out of Aphelios. He's slowed a little bit, but he's going to get out of there. Flash away from Annie. She gets the shield off just in time. I don't think the ignite is going to kill her. Oh, Aphelios with some really nice spacing. His support has arrived back to the lane. He's getting a good trade there, but Ari manages to get the kill on Annie. There's a stun on Thresh. He has no flash left. Aphelios flashes the hook, and that is going to be a kill for him. And that is 2 kills going over to TC.
Yeah, that was really well played from little gamer boy there. I'll just say the Aphelios. He recognized all the cooldowns were down from the Thresh, from the Kai'Sa, with the Kai'Sa W, the Thresh hook, all being on quite long cooldowns in this early stage of the game. And he's like, I can step up here, I have my abilities. And people disrespect this Aphelios, especially with the fleet getting a lot of that early damage, and he can really make an impact
Yeah,
in some of
and
these early fights, especially when they're long and extended.
he played that really nicely. So he used his cleanse he was able to use the red gun for the move speed. He
Mhm.
recognized he did not have to flash there, but then he had, I don't know the Aphelios gun names, I'm sorry. He had the gun that slows, and he was able to use that
Like
to
Travis the one.
space really, really nicely and get a lot of free damage off.
Yeah.
His support pulled up, and even using the flash, just to flash the hook,
Mhm.
making sure he gets that kill safely. That's a really nice play by him. Hecarim's in the bot lane here. Lantern from Kaisa, she'll flash away. Will she get away? Just barely.
Mhm.
And Thresh is going to limp out there too. But
Yeah, they
overall, not a bad gank. They get the flash from Kaisa there,
yeah.
so not
Yeah,
bad.
the next time the Hecarim, if he wants to look down, it could be quite impactful. Stun out. Although that kill in the bot lane did not lead to any leads at all, I believe, between the Aphelios and the Kai'Sa. The Aphelios, the Kai'Sa is 10 farm up, sorry, although Aphelios is catching a wave currently, so I'm not sure what that's going to quite amount to. Noon Quiver on the first base
He's getting a
compared.
little bit of a freeze, sort of, there. I'm not
Mm-hmm.
sure what he's going to plan to do with that. Both
Maybe, yeah.
top laners are level 6 now, so we could see a Shen come out sometime soon if they decide to go for a bot side play. Hook
Ari's.
lands onto Xerath. He's going in. That's a
Oof.
Flay and Ignite. Xerath dead instantly. And he's got to get some boots or something because he has eaten a hook a couple of times now. And he has 2 deaths.
Yeah, this Serath is he's an incredibly squishy champ in the early game. Rengar's snuck in. It looks like they're just gonna try go toward this Chemtech Drake here. There's still more trading at the top side. They just seem to be hitting each other at this point. Not sure a lot is going to happen there as the Drake is going to be secured. Is Ari a bit overextended here hitting this turret, knowing that bot lane are missing? I mean, I
Just
suppose
a
you've got
little
to
bit,
control
but
it there, but
I think she has ult up, so I think she'll
yeah.
probably be fine, even if they all do decide to collapse,
Hmm.
which they are going for right now. It's a 4-man mid, Rengar ult, but
Goes
Arya's
out.
just
Oof.
dodges the hook, and oh, the empowered
Oh, she got
Ebola,
some trade
but
back.
she lives. She
And
kills
Hecarim's coming
Rengar,
though.
gets a heal. Hecarim ulting in.
Oh, he's gonna
Annie
clean up
picks
here.
up the kill on the low health Thresh. He's gonna walk down Annie as well. That's a double kill. Smites the Tibbers, and he will live. And that is 2 kills on a play that. Oh wait, that's 3 kills. That is 3 kills for TC
Well, it's
on a
the
play that
third kill.
WGC engaged on. They come out with 3 dead team members. That's pretty bad.
Yeah, and that was just really well played from Ari there. He
Oh, Shen's
I
got to
mean,
be careful.
yeah, he could be getting poked down here. No flash though. No TP. This is gonna be devastating if he has to recall here. But I would assume he has to, as Rengar's gonna possibly stick around on this top side, make sure he has to recall here, otherwise he will die.
Yeah, that was a really nice empowered Bola to pin down the Ari there,
Hmm.
but because he used the empowered Bola, he didn't have the cleanse on his
Yeah,
W up and available. I think he got charmed under tower, and that
yeah.
actually led to Ari getting her passive off, which that heals her on champion takedowns, and every so often
Mhm.
after I think it's 9 minions or so. So she healed, and she was able to live through that. Got an extra charge on her ult to get away from that, and the jungler for TC smartly running over, seeing that there were a lot of low health members, and getting in there and getting a few free kills. Really nicely played by them.
Yeah, it was yeah, just well played. I'm not sure if she knew that play was coming and knew at least she'll be able to survive. It was really well played from Ace Bets to start, but the just tanking one too many turret shots there, and that led to the whole series of events which allowed Hecarim to come over, ult in, clean up that play, and now it's looking quite dicey. And so Hook lands, nothing's gonna come of it, just clearing a control ward. Didn't see no one was around.
But looking the top side, it looks like a fight
Hmm.
is about to break out over this Herald here. Rengar has to ult out and walk away, but his mid laner is arriving here. It's a 3-on-2 so far, and he flashes
No mana
forward and
running.
ults. A lot of big damage coming out, but Rengar is very low health, gets flashed on by Shen, and he's gonna die. Hecarim, low,
Ari's come.
ulting. Ari has arrived onto the scene. That's 2 kills. Shen ulted by Mordekaiser. He's trying to get something here. He's trying to get something. He's 1v3. Will he get the first kill? He does not get the first kill. He doesn't get the extra stats. and that's going to be 3 dead on the side of WGC. And who got Herald there? They didn't even get Herald.
Oh,
And a kill in the
God.
bot lane. That Xerath, who's been getting hit by hooks, he just ults and says, I've had enough. You've punished me enough. It's my turn now. And just kills the Thresh.
Yeah, that was some really fancy feat there from Gumi on that Shen, just dodging everything in the Mordekaiser ult. I'm not sure if you saw it. It was really quite well played in that Mordekaiser ult.
I did see him dodge. I think he dodged an E. The fight went pretty quick.
Yeah.
So he could have been dodging a lot more than that.
Yeah, it was just he stayed really close, but it just seems everything that WGC are trying to right? Yes, WGC are trying to do. It just keeps failing by such close margins. They're so close to taking down Hecarim. They're so close to taking down Shen and out, but it's not coming off, and that's leading to some massive advantages. 50 CS, 2 kills on that Artery. 6 CS up, 3 kills on a Hecarim. Shen is starting to get these items up, starting to get that Jack show, and it's slipping away quickly. 4k gold lead now on the side of Team Shill, and they have to respond now, otherwise they're just going to outscale and it's going to be devastating for them.
Yeah, and what's even worse than that is it feels like these are all the plays that WGC are going for. It's not something that TC is doing proactively. They're just reacting to plays that WGC are completely in control and setting up. And they're setting up these plays, they're engaging, and then it's just not working. And that's got to feel really, really demoralizing. And I feel like in a situation like that, you're going to kind of like step back and maybe be a little more hesitant. Even when you start to look for plays that look good, you're going to hesitate and be like, well, should I actually do this? Because it didn't work last time. So we're going to have to see what happens. But the flash play forward, maybe I'm mistaken. Actually, no, the flash play forward, he doesn't have anyone with him.
Yeah,
I think that's just a tilt play.
Yeah, he flash forward like, my whole team's griefing on 1-3. I'm just gonna flash in, and if no one follows me, I'm just gonna blame my team. I think it's just like definitely miscommunication, also not tracking the Hecarim as well as they maybe should have been. Iso wasn't in a position to follow up, and it was just flash play. Oh, I think I can find another pick once it's Zara for everybody else here, and it just didn't come to fruition. So it's just not one of these plays. It seems like every play they're making is just failing.
He might be getting caught out for a second time here. The charm, the stun, and he is just dead, just unaware that there are so many people just standing around mid lane looking for something like that. Just a lazy step forward that they can punish.
Yeah, and we did talk about the big potential of the sides. There's a Mordekaiser going on. How they just...
Well, there's the ult. The big fight. They're duking it out here. Shen's got the shield. He dodges the Mordekaiser Q. I think if that landed, he might have died. So really nice by him. And as Hecarim has arrived onto the scene, looking for this kill, ulting forward. That's the ignite. He does not care. He's just going to ignite and walk away. The Shen ult coming in to shield him, and he's going to be able to pick up the second kill as well. Really well done. A nice ignite just to finish that kill off and back off, saying, hey, I'm going to start fighting the other guy now. And Shen having the awareness to realize, look, I'll just ult him, give him the shield, and that's a free kill for us once again. A little bit of a fight mid lane. Both marksmen duking it out, but the Gale Force forward, and there is no reaction from the Kaisa. It's just too quick. I don't think he realized that the Xerath was there to help burst him down. And that's just another kill and another kill and another kill going towards TC over and over again. They are up nearly 10,000 gold at 15 minutes.
Yeah, and it's not the...
Oh, and the stun into the Everfrost into the charm, and this guy just cannot move.
1-6. Yeah, it was it needs a Divine Thunder on Hecarim at this point, which is just trying to be
the flash forward from Annie and the stun onto Xerath, but he's got a flash as well. The follow-up is not enough and not in time. Xerath is now ulting, and they're looking to punish this step forward. The charm from Ahri, is that going to kill Annie? The ult, is she going to die to ignite? No, she gets the shield off. I think that helped her. Rengar, unaware that he is on a ward, he is flashing away, but the Aphelios flashes forward, and he's going to get slowed. And where is he going? Does he have it? No, he can't get to the plant in time, and that is going to be another kill for TC.
Yeah, it definitely looks like on our 3-0 team here that they just look more succinct, and they're not even being proactive on these plays. As you said, it's just they're calling people over, they're predicting plays, they know when they're going to happen, and they're just able to respond. Which with this Ari kite back and the peel provided from the Shen Hecarim, it's just everything's been going disastrously for the side of WGC here. So
Yeah, and this Zerath, we were kind of saying like, we got to get some boots going. I see why we didn't get the boots
yeah, he
earlier
has the
in his
magic
runes.
foot there.
So can't be buying boots if you have those. Looks like they might be picking up the tier 2 tower here. Thresh looking for the hook. It does land. There's the Flay, but I don't think he's got enough damage behind him. The Rengar is looking into the backline, but the Shen just ignoring everything that's happening around him to ult his ADC. Really smart play, and Rengar is not going to be able to get the kill anymore. A flash taunt from Shen, and that's a kill on the Rengar. Aphelios trying to kite out this Mordekaiser in the ult, but I think he will be falling. That's a shutdown onto the Mordekaiser, but
He's
has
bigger.
got some other problems. Oh my goodness, another shutdown. This Mordekaiser is huge. He is just walking at him, beating him up. Not quite enough damage to kill that Shen, but he does manage to get some much needed shutdowns onto TC's bot lane.
Yeah. And yeah, it's we talked about the ability to peel these AD carries in team fights. There's like not really a lot you can do if he just like walks up, doesn't care about your front line, and just ults you, is there? Especially with this Rylai's Crystal Scepter, if he gets it into range of you, it's very difficult to walk away from him, which is why a lot of Mordekaisers have been building this item in recent years.
Yeah,
So yeah.
I think that that might have been a little bit misplayed from TC there. That could have been another no-death fight for them, but Aphelios should have kept walking back with his team chasing the Rengar. Instead, he turns around, steps out forward a little too far, and walks into Mordekaiser there, and he is just punished for it. And they're just unable to get the return kill back onto the Mordekaiser. But TC does pick up a free Rift Herald here, so they've got a ton of pressure, and they've not lost a single tower yet. They are in full control of the map right now, and they're even looking to just walk straight down to the dragon and take that next.
And that is a big problem, right? Um, WGC, although they just like I would probably say they won that fight, picking up the kill onto the AD carry and the support there. They couldn't convert it into anything. With this mid tier 2 being down, both side lane turrets being down, they have waves to respond to, they have places to be. They couldn't even like go and think about contesting their Herald, let alone taking it. So even though they got picks around the map, it didn't convert into any tempo, it didn't convert into any pressure. They still seem just as screwed as they were before.
When you think about it, the shutdowns went over to the Mordekaiser. It didn't go over to the Kaisa who can hyper carry, to the Rengar or Annie who can get a quick assassination kill or something like that. It really feels like Mordekaiser is one of the worst members to get the shutdown. So I feel like it's got to feel a little bit bad here, especially Shen is 3-0-6. He's got the Jack show. He's not going to die to this Mordekaiser.
Yeah, Shen is just like as tanky as he's gonna be. As tanky as Mordekaiser's gonna be, even with those shutdowns. And he's also he's not gonna be taking any damage. So
Xerath in the backside here. I think that WGC are gonna have to walk away and give this tower up.
Yeah,
they just don't have enough people here to stop this.
At this point, I do just like what the side of team Shrill are doing. They're just they simply walk into the enemy's they can simply walk into the enemy's top side. There's some tradings going on.
Yeah, a little bit of a fight happening in the bot side here. Shen taunts away. Mordekaiser's gonna keep walking with him. Oh, but the Hecarim ult in. There's an engage here. Thresh is dead. Hecarim going onto the Annie. Rengar jumping into the backline onto the Aphelios. Kaisa follows up and kills Aphelios, but I think he's dying as well. And they just rip through WGC, and that's going to be 3 kills for their Aphelios dying. I think Shen's a little bit in danger here. Doing a little dance with the Mordekaiser. I don't think Shen was able to get his ult off. I think if Shen gets his ult off
Yeah.
there, his ADC doesn't die, and that's
Mhm.
just another clean few kills. But they're pushing for mid tower into the inhibitor here for the side of
Yeah.
TC. Uh, they're gonna get this inhibitor and probably walk it out. Oh, the thresh hook lands, but they don't pull the trigger.
Yeah, and as I was saying, they're so ahead at this point. They have the ability to just walk in, face checks and brushes, get walls in the jungle, be careful of a flank which could be impactful. Then they can just overload the side lane and simply take the turret. The lead is like it's grown to a quite an incredible amount. 12k gold lead now. There's going to be really no contesting them unless you get a really cheesy flank and find a pick onto the AD carry when he has his cleanse and when he has his flash down, which is incredibly unlikely anyway. So they feel incredibly safe just overloading that side wave, and that's how they can just continue to grow their pressure around these objectives. So I think well played there from the side of TC.
Yeah, and it almost feels like getting the kills onto the Aphelios in these fights is almost just like a consolation prize. They
Yeah.
just dive onto him and get the kill while their entire team is dying. Because at this point, who else can you kill on their team? Hecarim's
Mhm.
not gonna die. He's got a
Yeah.
really beefy build.
Uh,
Ari's not gonna die. She's got a Banshees.
mhm.
She's dashing around everywhere. You know, the Everfrost even gives you health, so she's not gonna die. So at this point, they're just killing the only member that they can.
Mhm.
And in coordinated team fights, that's just not going to cut it because your entire team is dying for the price of one member on the other side. And that's just not good enough at this point. You're just going to keep falling further and further behind. TC picks up the free Baron, and they're
Mhm.
probably going to be looking to maybe take top inhib and end the game pretty quickly here.
Yeah, they would hope so. Although I don't, I think they also have the better scaling comps. I don't think there's much chance, but they wouldn't want to delay this. I'd want to get straight into game two, I would think. There's
Yeah, look at WGC. They've got two members in bot lane,
yeah.
and TC is just ignoring them. Their top laner doesn't even care anymore. He's just said, let's just five-man group and go in the game. And
Mm.
on the side of WGC, that
Oh,
Mordekaiser just
misses.
now backing. Oh, the Zerathult lands a few times on Kaisa. She is going to have to go back to base for a little bit. So that's going to be a free inhibitor going down. Two inhibs down, and they're probably looking to end the game here.
Yeah, they're just looking to
Well, the
look
hook
to tell no
lands.
one's died yet.
Shen stepping up. The Annie ult
It
is
was
going
all
down. Ward ult. Hecarim ulting
Necromorph's
in.
great.
That's a kill on Annie. Big fight. A lot of things happening. Mordekaiser looks like he's got Hecarim. Oh, but Hecarim lives with the triumph and the kill onto the Kaisa. Hook lands on Ari and he flays Ari back in the tower, but she's got one ult charge left and she will be getting out of there. The Shen top
Mhm.
forward. Flash away. Rengar cleansed it.
Yeah, the
But
turret
that'll
will
just be
fall and
4 kills, a clean 4 kills, and no deaths. And Team Chill takes game one, 25 to 5.
yeah, that was quite a dominant game one, you could say. Um, I think there was some standout performances all over, but it if you cast your mind back, there was nothing truly incredible they did per se. There was a standout moment maybe there from Margarine on that Ari, but even then it was just counteracting that gank from three people. It was I think going into this next game, they need to really, on the side of WGC, they need to really focus on making, if they want to make these proactive plays, they need to really focus on executing them perfectly to not give up the mistakes because TC are clearly very capable of taking these mistakes and then snowballing and snowballing and snowballing, getting those side turrets, getting those leads, snowballing their advantage and growing it massively. And at that point, I don't think there's really much you can stop them after you've made one or two mistakes. So.
Yeah, that's exactly the word I was thinking of, the execution, because
Mhm.
it really did feel like Team Chill, once they got going, there was no stopping them. And it kind of felt a little bit like WGC. They had some engages, they had moments where you could see the idea, you could see the
Yeah.
concept, you could
Mhm.
see exactly what they're going for, and it just didn't work out for one reason or another. So going into game two, if they're able to take those ideas out of their head and
Mhm.
put them onto the rift and make them
Yeah.
happen a little more cleanly, game could end up a lot different than this game one. But
Mhm.
I tell you what, Team Chill, Really, really nice countering to the play.
Yes.
Um, their jungler very aware of what was happening. I saw him move to plays as they
Hmm.
were kind of petering out and managing to get some stuff done for his team. So really nice decision making and awareness from him. I think we are going to be in for a lot of action in the
Hmm.
game too. I'm going to be honest, I expected a little bit more action earlier, but as soon as we got past like level 3 or so, there were fights
Yeah.
happening all over the place. It was
Yeah.
a lot of
And
action.
we did begin to see in the start of the game, we saw some of these ideas working. The lane gank, sneaking between vision, which is something that Ace Bets here or Meeps as they're called is going to be incredible at doing. Given their a mastery of the support role, they're going to be great about playing around this vision, which can lead over to the jungle role, which is why these two roles are so often linked and intertwined. They found that lane gank, but then it was just the overreaching on some of the later plays or the mistakes on the later plays which spelt the doom. So I think the ideas are there. They just have to nail the cough and hit the. Well, what saying am I looking for? Oh, I don't know. They just have to
Hit the
execute them well.
nail on the head,
Something like
or
that, yeah.
because the one that you're talking about put the nail in the coffin. That
Yeah,
would be
that's when you're
like
finishing something off, you know.
yeah, that's when you're finishing stuff off. So that would be like TC picking up the Baron here. That was like the nail in. Well,
Yeah,
not
yeah.
really because they were ahead for
Nah,
most of the game.
I think that was more putting the coffin in the ground and then putting some dirt over it. You know, just saying, yeah, the job's already done. We're just closing it out.
And
But
I'm having some
I don't know. We're just talking a lot of rubbish, really.
and I'm having some trouble getting into this lobby here.
Um, no,
Oh
it's
yeah, send me the draft link so I can open it on my screen. My bad. A little bit of issues on my side. A little bit
oh
of
wait,
technical
this
issues
one.
pulling stuff up. Drop so drop the spectate link. Yeah, there it is. So now I can see what's going on. Thanks
Okay,
guys.
sorry, producer. Could you
A
just
little
confirm
behind
for
the
me
scenes.
who's on what side? It's for same.
Oh, again, same sides, same
Okay, same
sides.
side, and it's looking like the same bands here. So yep, it's just a mirror matchup of what's happened with the Zaya, Wukong, Kindred, everything, and there's the Xerath
There's
at
the
first
Zerath
picked.
again. Man,
But
I feel like after such a, I mean, a crushing loss like that, you have to change something. So if they're not going to change their bans, you've definitely got to change
mm,
some picks here. I
there's the
don't
on
think,
first
I don't
pick,
know
but I
if
think that's
I don't think it's anything too bad with their comp. Like their comp, I
mm-hmm.
feel like it was a little worse
Oh,
last game.
Blitzcrank.
But you've got to pick something fresh just to keep the
Mm-hmm.
last game out of your mind. I mean, you
Yeah.
don't want to play a game on the same champion after you go
Mm-hmm.
like 0 and 4 on it or something. You know what I mean?
Yeah, the I think the Blitzcrank pickup here is quite this breath of fresh air that we were looking for there. It's it's not too dissimilar to the Thresh, but it allows for a lot different opportunities. The Thresh is more of a safer champ. It's more trying to keep your AD carry alive. The Blitzcrank's trying to flash in and find those hooks, maybe a bit of a better support than the Thresh in that last game. And a Mumu picked up in the jungle here, or maybe support role, but I think it would be the Xerath in the support, so I would assume the jungle. But I think Amumu's been a very solid champ for a while now, with new demonic especially. Can get the jungle, get the jungle cleared, and has a bit more of the early priority than the Hecarim usually has. Although we did see the Hecarim do work in some of those counter ganks there. And I'm wondering who we're going to see picked up in response here. It's going to be the Twitch locked in.
Man, I don't know. I don't know about that. So Blitzcrank is sort of like it's like a disdainful like pick. It's
Mm-hmm.
like you're picking an enchanter. I don't like that. I'm gonna hit
Yeah.
you with the hook and we're gonna kill you. You know, it's kind of like looking
Mm-hmm.
down at this guy. But the Twitch, I feel like Twitch does not have the kind of early power that you
Yeah.
want when you go with the Blitzcrank. You got to pick something that's able to kill them at level 1 or 2
Mm.
when Blitzcrank goes for these early
Yeah.
hooks. And
Yeah. I
I'm
think
just not sure if Twitch has the power in his kit to do that.
I think when you hit the level 4, 5, 6 mark, he can start to get the power. He can start to get the stacks up, and then Twitch Blitzcrank can be more okay because if it also is a bit of a psychological game, right, where Twitch goes invisible. It looks like Blitzcrank's alone. Blitzcrank flashes forward, and then Twitch unloads all of his damage. But it's not anything like what you would expect with the Blitzcrank, which is a champion which could output this high damage from levels 1 through 3. Maybe even the Lucian after the change where his passive also works with CC. You see MF Aphelios bans on the side of WGC, targeting this AD carry, who is, I believe, the highest ranked player on the side of Team Chill yet, being Diamond 2 there. So Rek'Sai banned.
I think
Rek'Sai.
Rek'Sai did get a little bit of buffs lately. She is a stronger champion right now, I think.
I think she just got tagged actually, but it's just
Did
like,
she? She got
yeah,
buffed a little bit ago, so
it's a base AD and base health nerf on this patch, and admittedly she is one that is buffed on this patch.
yeah.
Just a 5 movement speed nerf, but often we see these movement speed nerf buffs, sorry, but often we see these movement speed buffs are some of the most impactful. They help moving around the jungle. And
Oh,
Gwen,
the Gwen. That's an
is it
interesting
Cassandra
pick.
mid, or is it Gwen jungle? I don't know what's happening.
I'm not. I feel like that's. Oh, I think we're getting a message in the league here. It's Kaisa. I think that's. I think they're saying that
Okay,
that pick was
so
supposed
so
to be
that that's
Kaisa,
that's Kai'Sa. Okay, and
but that's a
wait,
Caitlyn.
what?
No, now I'm really confused. Maybe
Sorry,
it's
I'm
Kaisa
just
mid. I've seen Kaisa mid with Shiv
no. I
before.
think
It could be that.
I think Kai'Sa. I think the Twitch pick is Kai'Sa.
Oh, Oh, I'm looking at the wrong side. Oh my goodness.
I believe. Ace, yeah, because Ace Bets is on WGC, who's on the red side. I think the Twitch pick
Okay.
or the Nidalee pick,
Okay.
one of them is Kai'Sa.
So that's either a Cassante or a Gwen being blind.
Wait,
Oh my
what?
goodness.
Wait,
We got four
what?
top laners picked here.
Okay.
Oh, this is wild. This is great.
So is
I
it?
don't know who's gonna go to mid and who's gonna go to top though.
We're gonna have to wait for the for us to go to Andy's client pick here to actually see where everything is going. But this is
But wow,
certainly
this is
curious.
interesting. Yeah.
Yeah, people like.
So the Urgot this time coming out. I
Mhm.
suspected we might see that in this series.
Yeah.
The top laner for uh, is it WGC? The top laner for
Hmm.
WGC. Apologize. He is an Urgot player, so I expected that. Um,
Yes.
I didn't expect them to leave Xerath open. I would have thought
No.
maybe they try to get him on something he's a little less comfortable with.
Yeah.
But maybe they're just confident. They saw him eat some hooks
Hmm.
early in the
Yeah. They
first
they did
game.
manage to get him slightly behind, but
Mhm.
I think especially going into like he was landing everything, he was doing everything he was supposed to, and in
Mhm.
with a Caitlyn lane, which I think is a little more suited towards what Xerath is trying to do in some of these lanes. She can get some of that early priority, get that lane pressure, has
Mhm.
that range to be able to poke off the wave. I think this Xerath is a very dangerous one to let through still, uh, even though they did find some early picks onto it. But with the Blitzcrank here, that's he definitely is one to have ability to find picks onto the Seraph. So maybe we do see a bit of repeat of what happened in last game.
Yeah, but either way, it still feels like both teams are trying to go for the same kind of comp, which
Yeah.
I'm a
Hmm.
little bit surprised that WGC are going for the same sort of pick style comp here, considering how the first game went. Because they've got the hook champion,
Yeah.
and this time instead of Thresh, it's a Blitzcrank. He has
Hmm.
no utility whatsoever besides, I pull someone over and then
Hmm.
either kill them or or it's a wash, right?
Yeah.
Thresh at least has his flay and his lantern and stuff,
Hmm.
so it's pretty much just for pick only.
Yeah.
Nidalee, I feel like you've got to be pretty skilled and know what you're
Hmm.
doing, because if you don't know what you're doing, you're gonna look like a fool playing this champion.
Yeah. I often have as a jungle main, I have games where I just pick. I feel like I'm gonna fall up on this game. I pick Nidalee and I completely read it because I have no clue what I'm doing. But she does in the right hands, with the right picks around to have the ability to carry these games. She can be a very prevalent champion. It's just I don't know if a if the support main we have here in Meeps and Chill, although they are a multiplayer, I don't know if they have the capability to do that. They could do, and we could see something very amazing, very miraculous in the turnaround here. But we'll just have to wait and see when we get into the game.
Yeah, and it looks like it is going to be
Yeah.
Cassante versus Ornn in the middle lane. I think that Cassante has the edge against Ornn, but I'm not
Mhm.
super sure. Gwen versus Urgot in the top lane. I do want to say that Gwen, a very interesting pick, but I think it
Yeah.
works really well. I'm not too sure about in terms of TC's comp, but as a
Hmm.
nice counter to WGC's comp, because
Yes.
she can go invulnerable and avoid the Ornault, the
Hmm.
Urgot ult, the Blitz Hook, the Nidalee
Yep.
Spear. I mean, that invulnerability is a
Hmm.
really, really useful tool against this comp.
Yeah, and also the comp on the side of WGC loves to go in. They want to get on top of you with the on after they engage. The Urgot needs to be around you. The Kai'Sa wants to ult in, and the Gwen loves when people are running at her. She loves if she can get that needle work through people, start to cut through their health bars. And Caitlyn also is quite a fan of kiting back from time to time. Although she also can step forward on some of these item spikes. And they have Amumu Cassante to peel for these champions. Well, Xerath, Gwen, and Caitlyn try to chop through the health bars. So I am liking the team comp from the side of TC here. Although on the sides of WGC, they do have the ability to execute their composition from a mechanical standpoint and come up ahead again like they did in the last game. But it does feel like you did just come off the back of a game where you failed to execute your mechanics perfectly, you failed to execute your plays perfectly, and you're picking a composition which requires you to execute your plays perfectly. So if they feel confident in themselves, that's great, and I would love to see them pull it off, and I'd love to see an exciting game and maybe even go into a game three, but I'm not very confident about the composition on the side of WGC. What's your opinion?
Yeah, so I do think TC's got the better draft here,
Hmm.
but one thing I do want to say about the two different drafts is that WGC, at least they've got a lot of options for how they
Yeah.
want to engage or how
Hmm.
they want to get a pick. They can start with the Blitzcrank hook. They can engage with the Ornault if they want a
Yeah.
big fight. They can stay back and sort of poke people with the Nidalee Spear.
Hmm.
On the side of TC, they've got less options for that in a big fight,
Yes.
but it's a very like obvious linear. It's
Hmm.
one thing that they want to do, and what they want to do is they want their Amumu to lead the charge in these
Yeah.
fights. They want the Amumu to go first, then you've got Cassante and Gwen following, and then in the back you've got Caitlyn and Xerath. They want a
Hmm.
very, very front to back
Yeah.
orderly team fight, and it's gonna be uh, I think it's gonna be a little bit difficult to get that if you're against a Twitch and a Nidalee flanking properly. But
Oh,
we're
it's
gonna
it's the
have to
Kaiser there
see.
instead of the Twitch. Sorry.
Oh, the Twitch. Right, right. It's Kaisa, not Twitch. I
Yeah.
forgot. But there's some opportunities for WGC to get a flank off, but I
Mhm.
think TC is fairly safe in their backline because
Yeah.
they've just got so many ways to peel. They've got
Uh-huh.
a really nice front line. So even if it does get a little bit scattered, as long as, Xerath isn't getting blitz hooked randomly to start the
Mhm.
fight, I feel like they're going to have a really, really easy time in team fights,
Yeah.
especially around objectives. They've got really, really good zone control with the Caitlyn traps. And once you get WGC all funneled into one spot, that's when a
Yep.
Mumu will go in and get
Yeah.
his ult down, and then WGC will just be doomed. But we'll have to see how it actually goes in the game.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to say?
No, I just.
You're good?
Yeah, I
Okay.
believe I'm good. Yeah.
We are going to swing it to a quick break for spectator delay. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back with game two. welcome back to game two. We've got TC on the blue
Hmm.
side once again. I believe WGC
Yeah,
just decided to choose red side for the
yeah.
second time in this game too.
I think
They're
they're
gonna be going
marching the
for
bot lane
something,
with Blitzcrank Classic.
of course.
Yeah, it's
I
been
mean, you
swept
pick
out
the
though.
Blitzcrank, you always look for the level one hook, you
Uh,
know. But seeing they're warded, they're gonna back off. Maybe they'll go in
mhm.
from above, or maybe they'll just all take their resets.
Yeah, above is not warded, so they can't quite know that. He's just gonna hook the bush. I'm assuming it's just gonna take a reset. Yeah, polls on both bot laners. I don't know if they're expecting a boring one, but I feel like generally with when a Blitzcrank in the lane, it's and never normally a boring farm lane, but yeah.
And because they spotted out WGC's entire team on that ward
Mm-hmm.
in the bot tri-brush, even though they give them like the teeny tiny bit of XP from the ward, they're able to get a second ward down onto the Raptor camp in the top side of WGC's jungle. So
Yeah,
smart
they
heads up play. All you solo queue players out there, top laners, take notes. A little bit of trading in the mid lane already. A little bit of trading in the top lane already. That Gwen is very, very low health. He's fighting back a little bit, but man, not a good trade for Gwen there. This could be an Urgot getting a level 2 and just flashing forward. Gwen has no flash, and there it is. The flash flip, and Gwen is trying to limp out somehow. Xante is going in on Ornn in the mid lane. Oh, Xerath flashes the hook, and Caitlyn gets hit by the hook instead. There are fights happening all over the place. Cassante ghosting onto the Ornn, dodges his brittle breath or whatever it's called. There's the first blood for Cassante. Very nice. A lot of action already. Man, that Gwen is low health. That Gwen has got to be careful. She still has the teleport available. So I feel like she should be going for a teleport soon because Sante is getting ganked by the Nidalee. He's got no ghost, but he flashes out, dodges the spear, and is able to get away. Very nice movement from him to avoid dying. Zyduk, have you died on us?
Yeah, see,
Are you
I
back?
really don't know what it is. It just feels like whenever I'm casting with Risen, my internet just drops out. So it's yeah, I'm back now. Need to get that sorted out, but oh, there's
And you
nearly coming
missed
into
all
the
the
mid lane.
action, man. Like all the action. I'm
Yeah.
telling you.
I saw the Cassante and Urgot flashed on top of each other or something, and no, Urgot, sorry, Ornn flashed on top of each other, and Cassante picked up the kill there.
Oh, really close blitz hook there.
Mhm.
Yeah, Cassante. So Cassante used his ghost, and he was able to run past Ornn's brittle breath. And
Yep.
if Ornn's able to get that brittle breath off and get that empowered auto, I think he'll definitely get the kill here. But hold up, we've got a gank in the top lane. And Mumu lands the Q. Urgot's got no flash because he engaged on Gwen earlier. He's very low. Gets the heal from Nidalee, and he's able to live there. Mumu flashes out while Nidalee goes in for the engage. Is she looking for more? No. So Urgot will live and Amumu will live, but Amumu using his flash to get out of that one.
Yes. Indeed. Yeah. Sorry, I'm just trying to reorient myself with the game. As
We're at 430.
Mumu has managed to get this early recall whilst Nidalee stayed out, maybe lacking a bit on tempo. He's picked up that armies, which is going to help him with this clear speed. Whereas Nidalee has been looking for some of these
for another game.
engage. Yeah, still on the walls, but
One with no ghost landed the Q. She's a
Oh.
little bit caught out here. The flip lands. Nidalee spear pretty late. You've got to get your spear out directly after the flip there. That's much cleaner if you land the spear first, but hook lands onto this Xerath. Once again, that's an ignite. Couple of heals going down. Xerath will live, but he is very, very low health. It's another hook landed onto this Xerath. I mean, I feel that if he could just avoid getting hooked early like this, you know. Oh my god, Another hook lands. Maybe this Blitzcrank's just so on to the flat. Oh, but it's a 1-for-1.
Yeah,
Wow.
that was well played, getting the full Q damage off some Mumu re-engages.
The Blitz, he's pretty low. Cassante is here, but there's a ward. Nidalee Spear lands on a Mumu. Poke from the Xerath. Blitzcrank's low, but they're not going to be able to go for it because the enemy jungler is here backing up Blitz. So no kills there after the ADC's trade.
Yeah, it's I think this Xerath's magical footwear is starting to become slightly grief into these hook champions. It just has a complete lack of move speed and keeps getting hooked after hooked after hooked. And as you're really not the squishiest champion, especially with Comet as a rune instead of something like Guardian maybe in this matchup, it can spell doom and you can start to give up kills. But it was really well played from Caitlyn to go 1-for-1 there after getting hooked under the turret. Although the hook maybe should not have landed, they should not have allowed that hook to land. It was just well played mechanically to get the full damage Q off onto the Caitlyn, to get the extra auto attack off to secure the kill. It's always been trading happening in top lane.
Oh, Gwen, the flip. Ult lands, but she's gonna ghost. I think she might be dead here. There is the execute, and Gwen ulting and ghosting, but it's not enough. You can be invulnerable, but Urgot's flip puts him on top of you. So if you're in the circle, all your stuff is still gonna land. So she's not invulnerable to that.
Yeah.
2 kills onto this Urgot, and we are seeing the power of player on the champion he's most comfortable on.
Yeah, it does tend to be. And it is starting to look like some of the plays that they are looking for are now starting to come to fruition, although they've not been as proactive in this game. It may be that they're even looking a little scared to try do things. With Nidalee being camps behind and not looking as prevalent. Well, Amumu hasn't obviously made an impact as a gank is coming in here.
Well, I think this could be good. Nidalee Spear lands, the net away, and Blitzcrank has hooked a minion.
Flash up,
flashes out. Oh, but he's able to catch up to the Xerath, and they get the kill onto Xerath. Now Caitlyn trying to kite around and get something back in return. Nidalee's pretty low, but there's a 3-man in the top lane. Cassante ulting the Urgot out of his tower, but it's not enough. Urgot flashing back to safety.
Yes,
the Hex Flash. Nothing. So WGC fighting back here in this game too. They're ahead a little bit. Oh, but Gwen has arrived. It's a 2v1 and Urgot now has no flash. Blocks the flip. Oh, and it's just short. Oh no, it's disastrous. And that's another kill for the Urgot. Yeah. Just barely. If he's able to get that Sheen auto off, I think he gets the kill. Maybe even lives, but really well played to that Urgot.
Yeah, and I am really liking seeing not important here.
Oh, the Gwen. They are just going after this guy. Amumu ult, and there it is. They are finally able to take him down. It feels like TC is maybe even getting a little too antsy with it. Nidalee walking into Amumu here. Battle of the Junglers. The spear lands, and he flashes out. Nidalee, you've got to save your leap for after the flash. You have that empowered further dash after the spear lands, but doesn't save it and doesn't get the kill.
It feels like Nidalee is here in all the right times at all the right places, but the mechanics just feels a little off for Ace Bets here, for Meeps here, as it's not their primary role, and they picked one of the hardest champions in the role. It's the trap hits on the
onto the trap. That's a stun. That's the ult, and she's just dead. You can't be walking onto a trap like that. Oh, but she's hooked under the tower. Is that going to be a kill? No, the second tower shot does not go off. She's able to walk out just in time.
Yeah. One thing to notice is there's some trading in the mid lane between our two tanks here. One thing to notice is that the 600 gold that was on the Urgot went to the Amumu instead of a Gwen, which you really want it on. You want this Gwen to get to her item spike so she can start dealing all this magic damage with the needlework. But instead, it went onto the Amumu there, which could be unfortunate in the longer run. But 2 kills on the Caitlyn here. She's gonna start getting her
running
items.
forward, looking for something, but there's minions all in the way. What's another minion? Kaisa taking a lot of poke here. The Caitlyn outranging her really nicely spaced out. Very nicely done from TC's bot lane.
Yeah. And with all this pressure and with everything that comes with it,
all blind hook goes between TC's bot lane, and that might just be a kill. A lot of action happening in the river. Orange flashes out, but the spear lands on the Caitlyn. Is the ult going to kill her?
No, not quite.
Oh, the Kaisa sniping her from downtown. And that's gotta feel pretty bad.
It's been a much more fun game. It looks like kills on overside rather than just the one-way stomp we experienced last game. Yeah, there's a lot of snipes coming out there. The Caitlyn obviously with the headshot in the crit, and the Kaisa finding that angle through the players. Yeah. But the Drake overall ended up going to the side of TC here. Kaisa's
got to be a little careful. She's very, very low. It really feels like TC is playing their poke bot lane matchup really well right now.
Yeah.
Even though both the marksmen are 3 and 2, it feels like TC is just getting more done because they're able to poke out the other marksmen just because they have so much range. So it's really nice that Kaisa's gotten the static shiv already, so that she doesn't have to eat so much poke. She's not in so much danger of doing what happened earlier where she stepped on a trap and got blown up like that.
Yeah, that was one of the really nice things about the static shiv in some of these AD carry matchups. When you were into like a heavy losing matchup in like the Caitlyn into the Kaisa, you could pick up this static shiv and it would like it wouldn't exactly win the lane, but it would neutralize it to a point where you could pick up farm and you could start to shove these waves back so you're not permanently under your turret.
Well, Nidalee getting a little bit caught out here. Cassante pops the ghost, trying to run her down. His jungler is there with him too. Blitzcrank flash forward out of the bush. Caitlyn. Oh, the Kaisa ulting onto her. She's exhausted, so it'll take her a little bit of time, but she gets the kill, and they are not able to kill the Kaisa back in return. There's just not enough there. Oh, there's some action in the top side too. Oh, but Kaisa goes down. Action in the top side. Nearly lands a spear, the flip, and Amumu is dead. Gwen going in, ulting on 3 people, and that's a kill on Nidalee. It's a 2v2 now. Cassante stunning both of these 2 members here. It's top and mid on both sides. Big, brutal fight here, but Cassante very low health, and he goes down. Urgot flashes forward. Is Gwen going to be able to live here? She's running, but Blitzcrank's arrived as well, and that will secure the kill. 3 kills going over to WGC.
Yeah, and that's it started off starting to look good for the sides of TC there, with Gwen being able to cut through, starting to find those kills, but with the arrival of Blitzcrank there, and them being able to start taking over the fight, the Urgot on this Black Cleaver spike, I believe he had it in that fight, was very strong, very prevalent, and when he gets this first item up, if he hits those critical spots, if he manages to shoot from those legs, it will cut through anybody no matter the HP. And although Cassante, I don't think quite had that first item yet, which could have changed the tide of the fight. It was really well played there from Not Important, still on this looking great on their primary pick here.
Oh, Blitzcrank, unaware that he's on a ward, he's gonna take some damage here and run it out. But yeah, exactly to what you were saying, WGC, in a fight like that where there's even numbers, they're just going to be able to win that fight because their top laner is so far ahead right now. He is 6 and 1, going for the engage on a Gwen, and I think she's just going to die here. That you've got to show a little bit more respect when you're this far behind. Yeah. I think that's a 2-level lead now.
2 levels. Gwen hasn't got her item up yet. Yeah.
Yeah, Urgot 7 and 1 on the cleaver. Gwen has not been able to finish her first item yet. So you've just got to show more respect at this point in the game.
Yeah, Gwen, she can start to get leads in this matchup.
But
She
there's a
can.
gank in the bot lane.
Ooh.
Hook, missed, spear, lands. Are they going to be able to get this kill? The flash forward from Kaisa and the heal. Spear lands again. Ulting onto this Caitlyn. Does
She
not
left
step
it.
forward, but Gwen is
Could be
here in the
big.
bot lane trying to get something. I think she will get the support kill. But
Oh, and
on the
Cassandra cleans up on
backside,
the
Cassante
other side
ulting
of the
in
fight.
and getting the other two. So while it looked really good for WGC, TC's top and mid able to rotate down on the back half of the fight and just get the same amount for their team that they
Yeah.
had just lost.
Although this has let Urgot have some alone time with this top turret, and it is going to be taken.
Yeah, that's going to be the first tower going down
yeah.
to WGC's top laner. On the Urgot, his favorite pick,
Yeah.
comfort pick. He's performing really well. That first tower is going to be really helpful in getting him to carry this game. But
Look,
TC is able to pick up their second dragon.
I do quite like what Gumi's doing. He recognizes that there's no real way of even ever contesting this Urgot in this side lane. So they can try and move and then try go to the lanes where they're fighting people who they're not very hard against. There's a 2-level lead still between the top laner of TC and the AD carry of WGC there. So they have the ability to fight in some of these bot lane skirmishes, which they don't quite have the ability to fight against not important on this Urgot there. So yeah, I think it's great trying to move that pressure down into the bot side, get some more gold.
Ornn going in,
Caitlyn.
1v2, the exhaust comes out. He is beating up the Marksman right now. Xerath ulting on top of the Ornn. Ornn flashing forward. The Gale Force in the stun, and Caitlyn lives, and Ornn dies.
It's that brittle breath again, isn't it? It's the most crucial part almost of Ornn's kit outside of the Ornn horn there. If it doesn't land, you're losing so much damage in your combos there.
When a move goes on to the Blitzcrank, but he's got no one with him, so it's really kind of a pointless engage. On the 3 people, Gwen really not interested in helping. Amumu is going to have to flash out there, and that's just not a very good engage there. His team's not with him. He's got no idea where the enemy team is. It's not really worth it to just engage onto a support that's full health like that if you aren't like an assassin trying to blow him up. He's playing Amumu, you know? Looks like there is a dive coming into the bot lane here, though, and Xerath is going to be taken out. Very nice tanking of the turret there by Urgot, recognizing he's got the tanky stats, he's got the cleaver, he should lead the charge here. Very well played dive from them.
Yeah. I think there's just a miscommunication between the top laner and jungler on the side of TC there. They believed Gwen didn't have the needle work up, they didn't quite have the item, they weren't on that spike, they were quite squishy. And Min was like, oh, I think me and Gwen, given our base levels, given our base stats, can kind of take this fight against the bot lane. But then Gwen just was never in a position to try take that fight. So it's unfortunate there, but nothing's going to come of it. It's not important. It keeps getting to farm for 3, get these turrets on the side lane, and even further bolster their lead. So I'm not quite sure how they're planning on responding to this. There is two dragons, however, on the side of
the Xerath ult. He's looking to try and pick up this shutdown, but
ghosting in.
He's too tanky. Gwen ghosting in. She is going to try and run this man down with Flash. Does she have?
Doesn't need it.
Here it is. Even tanking a tower shot or 2, she is fine. The Blitzcrank flash forward, answered by the Gale Force from Caitlyn. Nothing will come out of that. Xerath getting some really nice poke done here. But they're finally able to shut down that Urgot, but he is on 2 items now. Is it too late? That is the question.
I think this Urgot can be incredibly impactful on team fights, but I think with the peel that the side of TC have, there's not all hope is lost. It's only a 2.5k gold lead, which 20 minutes in is not all too much. It's definitely there, and it's definitely noticeable. But
both teams looking for a mid fight here. TC's bot lane up a little bit too far, but Amumu getting the nice ult onto 2 players. Caitlyn lives, barely dodges the hook. Cassante is onto the backline here, going in on this Kaisa, trying to get done. He's very low, but he gets the kill. Dies to Blitzcrank's Ignite. Gwen ulting in. Ornn falls. He's got nobody on his team left to support him. Urgot lands the ult. That is crazy. And that is going to be marksman down. That is a wild ult.
Yeah.
So not too bad for the side of WGC.
Yeah.
Although TC does come out on top with an extra kill, putting that
Mhm.
Nidalee at 0 Magi stacks. I'm not sure if Magi's is the play here, to be honest.
I honestly, I've over the past like year and a half, I've become the biggest Magi stan. I think the item is just so OP. It's so many free stats. Even if you just get like 1 or 2 kills on it, I think upgrading to the Magi's, especially if you have the gold frame base, is almost always good. Unless there's something else you obviously need to pick up. It will allow you to start snowballing in these fights, and sometimes you die and you lose it all, and that's unfortunate. But I feel like, especially if the game is going this scrappy, you have the ability to pick up the kills and the assists, and you start to stack it really quickly, which is something I don't think people realize. I think maybe if this was pro play, it wouldn't quite be the choice, but given the amateur nature of the draft league and the fun and the action, the kills we tend to have, I think I quite like the pickup on O'Neilly there. Got a bit distracted though, as in that team fight, I think it was a mistake to go for it by WGC clearly, because where was their whole gold lead? Their whole gold lead was in base with the Urgot, right? And
That's true. That's true.
so
That wasn't
the
there.
fight was kind of an equal footing, and so
There's a dragon
fight.
fight coming in. Secured the Dragon Cassante onto the back line. Once again, he is just going for it,
So
diving
much
straight in there,
damage.
killing the marksman. Amumu getting the ult down, not landing on a Nidalee, but landing on a Blitzcrank. And that's going to be 2 kills for TC. So WGC able to secure that dragon, but the team fight that ensues, TC, I think, is taking it to them. Urgot does not get his execute off in time and falls, and that is just 3 kills. TC could look to push mid here or even go to Baron.
Yeah, I think they're gonna. I think they can probably do both with this Ogre on a 30-second timer. He's the only one with a real threat, so I think they might be have the ability. No, they're just gonna go straight to the Baron there. I think they could have pushed in that mid lane first, but with the Nidalee still being alive, I think they're somewhat scared of a steal. So maybe the straight to the Baron is the right play.
We're teleporting in. We're gonna see what happens here. It really feels like WGC is just not able to peel this Cassante. It feels like Cassante is the big problem here. Ornn flashing into the pit here. Nidalee's looking for a steal. Kai'Sa's ulted in. Nidalee gets the steal on the Baron, and there's 2 kills for Gwen here. So TC, again, losing the objective, but getting the kills on the backside of the objective. But that is a big Baron steal there.
Yeah, honestly, if the if that Baron went to the side of TC there, it the game would be massively in their favor. But now, as you can see, the gold lead is only that 1.5k that they got from the Baron. It's starting to shrink even. They're going to be in the negative when it comes into this Baron. So although the Baron wasn't picked up, it's still a positive play, I would say, from the side of TC. But yeah, the smite was off. It was missed, and Acebets managed to pick that one up. So it's just keeping them in the game with that Baron still. I think it's very impressive. But this Cassante has been shown to be a massive problem on the fights. All 3 of the squishy champions there, well, 2, 3, the Nidalee Blitzcrank, you can say is squishy, not having as much stats being the support, and the Kai'Sa there, were all just clumped up there, and this Cassante was managed to chop all through them. With the Iceborne Gauntlet, the Sheen procs can do a lot of damage, even though he's such a tanky champion as well. It can be hard to chop through him, especially with the all-out. So I'm just curious as to the way to peel through him, because he has the ability to just use that all-out to get on top of the AD, to get on top of the carries, and it's looking very threatening in this game.
Yeah, right now it just really feels like WGC, they've got to find a way to peel their carry, or the game is going to take a turn for the worse fairly soon, I think. TC's ADC has done a very nice job of kiting out, so he hasn't had to have been peeled quite so much. He's got the Gale Force, and he's been able to dodge some of these hooks that have been flying out, even at like random times in team fights. So his team's able to focus a little bit more on getting the engage onto the enemy team's backline, and I think that's making a little bit of the difference here, and that's part of the reason that TC hasn't fallen behind yet, is that their ADC is just avoiding a lot of these hooks and things that are coming at him.
They were doing this in the last game as well.
But they're looking for Cassante here. He gets a spear hit on him. When ulting the bot lane, that's a decent bit of damage, but I don't think you're going to be able to kill both of the bot laners there. Caitlyn Trap going down on the Ornn, that's a pretty good chunk of damage. They're looking for this mid lane tower, but they're not quite going to be able to get it yet.
Yeah. And the Drake stacking on the side of TC was, however, stopped by this side of WGC there. Oh, Gale Force
Oh,
away
there's an
as you
engage
said.
onto the Urgot. That's their strongest member, so they've got to be a little bit careful here. They realize that WGC is nearby in the mid lane. Casante's looking for something. They've got to be careful here because if a Blitz Hook lands onto the wrong person and they're able to get a quick kill, it could end up really badly for TC.
Mm-hmm.
But so far,
Yeah,
they're playing the spacing game pretty well.
It could do indeed, yeah. This this Eddie carry on the side of TC has been great throughout both the games and dodging these hooks. There's been multiple times where it's just like, oh my god, that made my heart stop for a second. It's been quite cool to watch how they've been able to maneuver around these hooks and these hook champs. They always seem to have a presence of where the champion is and how far they have to space around them to still be able to get those auto attacks in on the back line. So yeah.
Check this out. So WGC, they just all reset as a team and they're walking to the dragon as a unit. TC are a little bit slow to here, but WGC hasn't caught on yet, so they haven't been able to punish this. I feel like both teams could have been to the objective a little bit quicker, but the battle lines are being drawn right here. Blitzcrank is not with his team. He's got to find a way to reconnect with his team. And there it is. He's walking through the brush here.
Coming up with the flank. She's been caught out a bit though.
Gwen's behind. A little bit of back and forth from both teams. Nothing yet.
Just keep sending out some of that poke. Everything seems to be missing. Both health bars.
Asante just saying, I've had enough. I'm just going to take the mid lane tower. And WGC finds an opening. Xerath flashing away. Very nice flash. Amumu ulting onto the back line. Clean flash from Xerath, but there's no follow-up to Amumu's ult. The shutdown. Gwen is late, but kills the Kai'Sa. Urgot flashing forward, but Caitlyn Gale forcing away. Able to kite it out. And it's a 3v3. The hook lands on a Caitlyn. And she is down, but Cassante, again, the problem. Another kill for him. Xerath trying to run away, trying to say, help me, help me, help me, get the Cassante over here. Hook goes wide, and Cassante is making his way over. There's the dash forward.
Run, Xerath,
is running for his life. There's the stun. And I don't think Blitzcrank has the mana for a hook. Orn is running for it. He's running for it, but the Iceborne Gauntlet is going to make sure that he cannot get away, and that's a kill for Cassante. No! Xerath is solo. Is he going to die to minions? He's got to be careful. He does not die to minions, but a very, very, very close fight there. TC pick up 4, WGC pick up 3. Cassante pretty low, but he's going to go for the kill on a Blitzcrank, not realizing that Kai'Sa is arriving, but it's a 1-for-1. But Cassante has been shut down.
Yeah,
not sure what's going to happen here with the dragon now.
Oh my god, the dragon didn't get taken. I forgot about it.
Yeah, they just killed each other. Nobody actually took dragon.
They're just gonna restart. I think I think everything's gonna happen again.
Oh my god, round 2. They're stuck in the pit a little bit. Gwen's gonna find.
One thing to notice is.
They're fine. They're fine. They're actually going to take the dragon. Is Nidalee going to be able to get in here and steal it? The Ornn TP, but I don't think he has ult yet. Caitlyn trap, and there's an engage from Amumu. Nidalee steals the dragon while Amumu goes in and gets ulted and dies instantly. Caitlyn very low and gets flashed forward, killed by Kai'Sa, and that's going to be a couple of kills for WGC. They could look to do Baron now. It really feels like Amumu takes his attention away from the objective incorrectly. Gets the dragon stolen, goes in without his team. His team is not ready to follow up there. It really feels like his team is just not ready to follow up on him. Oh, but the stun on the Blitzcrank, they're getting a little bit of an engage here. Flash out, Xerath ulting onto everyone. They're trying to run it out. Gwen and Cassante marching forward. And there's a bit of a scuffle.
What is this game?
Both teams peeling off after the Blitzcrank dies. And Baron does not get taken after all.
Yeah, I think the Amumu engaged on towards the Urgot, I believe it was, or somebody to the right side of that dragon pit, which allowed Nidalee to jump in and steal it after maybe a bit of lack of communication on the side of TC. And they continued to do that dragon there when Amumu wasn't in a position to get that smite off. And I think we need to start to notice is that the movements are starting to come on the side of WGC, with level 15 being hit. It's been handed out to both the Kaiser and the Nidalee here. So they're starting to get their items. They're starting to scale up to that point where they're going to be doing a lot more damage with these items. And Kaiser maybe is going to get into this hyper carry position where she can start to take over these fights more, and it shifts away from the Nidalee and the Urgot in these fights towards more of the Kaiser being the main threat, which could change how these fights have been played out. But the Cassante in that original fight was the one that was really setting the pace there. I think we can both agree he was the one who was still able to get onto that backline. The Caitlyn was able to clean up.
Yeah, and I do want to point out that the Gwen, following up on the Cassante on these plays in the mid game, has managed to bounce back, and she's now 9-5-6. But this hook lands on the Xerath, and that's just a dead Xerath, forgetting that bush is warded.
Look towards Baron now, I think.
Yeah, that's just a little. He just shouldn't have been there. That's just a mistake from him, and that could cost Baron. But this Gwen has bounced back and is just about even with the Urgot now. There's the TP. He's not going to risk anything. I think this is just going to be a clean Baron take for WGC. Lumu's looking. He's looking. The flash in the ult on the 4. Oh, but the Ornalt still goes off, and that's a kill. Gwen on the backside, not able to find anything, and that's going to be 2 more kills and the Baron going over to WGC.
And that lead is just looking big on
Oh
big.
man, the Urgot, they're looking to chase this Caitlyn down, the Gale Force away, and she is dead. Cassante ulting, but the stopwatch from Kaisa, is that going to save her? Her team has arrived. Xerath ulting, but I don't think he's got the damage to take care of business here.
Yeah, and that all came from the original pick onto that Xerath there from the Blitzcrank. Really well played.
Oh my goodness, Cassante dashes in front to block the hook. Gets taken out, and WGC could look to end the game here.
Yeah, there's death time.
Oh, the spear lands! Flash forward, exhaust. He is saying, please don't kill me, not yet. 5 members pushing towards these Nexus towers now, but that's a kill on the Blitzcrank. The spear lands onto Xerath, and Xerath dies. They are going to walk it out, 4 members strong, but they say, hey, let's reset, let's take our time, and get it done right.
There's still a minute till Baron. They can contest on the side of TC if they want to, but I wouldn't imagine they have the most drive to try contest on this Baron. Yeah, and it's that hook on the Xerath which led to that whole chain of events there. It was them being able to then go over to the Baron, and the Amumu trying desperately to smite and steal a Baron, which I don't think they needed, led to almost everybody on the side of TC dying, and led to an almost massive gold lead of 6k here on the side of WGC, which when we're starting to get to these points where we're having 3 items on our key carries like our Gwen and our Caitlyn, the gold lead can start to not mean as much as Gwen is being chased
Gwen's a little bit caught out here. She's ghosting, but there are a lot of members converging here. She actually finds Kaisa, but Kaisa just kills her very, very quickly. And that's probably just going to be another objective going over to WGC. And man, it really feels like, you know what I feel like? I feel like if Amumu had a Zanya's in the, oh my goodness, the flash hook on a Xerath, and the fight has started. Amumu ult, Ornn ult. Everyone's layering their ults on top of each other. Amumu does manage to pick up the dragon, and there's kills going both sides. Is Caitlyn able to get anything more? Flash from Ornn. Caitlyn flashing away. Nice kiting. She might be able to kill Ornn here. She's got the Kraken Slayer and the LDR, but it's not quite enough, and that's a 4 for 2. But Amumu did manage to snag that Mountain Dragon, so they are on the soul point. That could be a point of contention. If they're able to last that long and get the soul point, they might be able to turn the game around. Yeah, but both Nexus towers have fallen. That is a problem.
Yeah, massive problem indeed here. Both these turrets falling. The Caitlyn, without that hero play, being able to stall out the Ornn there, being able to chip down that Kaiser, being able to pick up a couple of kills around that Dragon Pit. Without that play, I think this game would have been all over. And it's really hanging by the skin of its teeth. They're going to really have to defend this mid wave here. It's their Gwen, their Caitlyn is always going to have to be called back to this mid wave, whilst also defending these side turrets. They need to cling on to everything they've got if they want to try stay in this game, along with the Baron spawning in 2 minutes, which they will have to contest. Otherwise, they're just going to be able to march in and end the game here. But with the Caitlyn and with the Gwen, they do have the wave clear to be able to get through these waves. So it's still not all over.
Gotta be a little careful here. Enemy team is in his jungle. A little bit of a fight. Urgot flip going onto the Cassante. Is anything going to come out of this? Cassante looking. He gets hooked and dies. And Gwen and Ornn fighting it out in the bot lane. I think Gwen is just going to pick up a nice solo kill. So it's 1 for 1. No, it's 2 for 1 as Nidalee gets the kill on Xerath. They've got 4 against 3, and I think they still have the Baron.
Yeah,
they're going to push for this top tower even without the Baron buff. Oh, the flash from Kai'Sa. That could be an important cooldown. But Caitlyn's got to be really careful for the hook here because one bad hook could be the end of the game. But the flash from Urgot, she thought she was safe dodging the hook, but Urgot gets the flash off. Amumu flashing into the backline here, trying to get something, but Kai'Sa gets her ult shield off just in time and does not die to the Amumu. And I think that is most likely going to be the end of the game. It is going to be 1 for 1 with the game 2 going to WGC.
Yeah, that was a crazy one.
Wow.
66 kills in 36 minutes.
That was action.
Action indeed. And
that was action.
I think the main points of the shining point there, the side of WGC, was that Urgot, and I would be very surprised if we don't see it banned away in Game 3. They looked so much more comfortable on the Urgot than they did on the Mordekaiser. They looked like they could actually lane against Gumi here. They looked like they could thrive. They were turning 2v1s against them into double kills. They were surviving ganks. I think and then they managed to transition all that pressure into these dragon fights, into these bot lane plays, into these fights in the top side jungle. I think it's a really great game there from Not Important on that over, and that was one of the key factors as to why they won this game here.
You know what? I'm gonna say one thing that it's a little bit like unrelated to everything else we're talking about, but I feel that if Amumu had an hourglass in those dragon fights, you know, those fights where he would go in ult and die instantly, if he had a stopwatch that he could use after ulting, right? Just to delay it out a little bit, just to say, you know, I've got stasis active, I can wait for my team to follow up for a minute here. I feel like that could have made the game turn out very, very differently. Do you agree with me?
Yeah, I think in like all the time, like with Cinema Movie Meta, which to be perfectly clear has not been that much. This stopwatch item has been so impactful. It's on all these champs that would love to go in. They love to see it in the team fights. Amumu was going in, ulting, and then being one shot. They weren't being a distraction. They didn't have the ability to get their CC off. There was nothing they could really do there.
Yeah, and that's not too much his fault. I feel like it's partially just the fact that Urgot's a pretty good tank shredder, especially with Cleaver. He deals that max health true damage, so it's not really his fault that he's dying so quickly with that strong Urgot. But just having that stopwatch to help delay. I don't know, maybe the communication was a little off. It felt like his team was slow to react when he would engage. Just there's so many little things that could have been done a little bit differently that could have turned the tide of the game here for TC in game 2.
Yeah. It felt like they did start to they on the side of TC weren't the side of WGC, sorry, weren't looking as proactive as maybe they were in the first game, but that did work out for them in the end. It didn't, there was no domination from either side there. It was both teams, like the Nidalee did start to look for some ganks towards her level 6 mark, but it was nowhere near what they were going for prior with these big organized plays onto the mid lane, which did end up allowing them to get stomped there. But Yeah, I think it was very reactive, and that led to a lot of fights, and that led to a lot of kills, which was very exciting. But maybe I want to see one of the teams take a more controlled approach there.
Yeah, I gotta say, I have learned a lot of people say that when you look for a play, you want to look for a guaranteed play.
Mhm.
Uh, I hear this a lot about junglers actually. If you want to go for a gank, you should try and go for like a guaranteed, really good gank where you'll get either flashes or kills or whatever.
Yeah.
But the same could be said about the entirety of the game, right?
Hmm.
In the first game, they were going for plays and they weren't working. They were not
Yeah.
guaranteed successes because there were things that went wrong with them. But in the second game, there was a lot less of that from the
Mhm.
side of WGC,
Yeah.
and that led to them not falling so far behind early. And so
Hmm.
we ended up having a really nice game with a lot of action in it. So
Yes.
if one team is able to find a nice comp and a nice way to execute it so that
Hmm.
they're getting guaranteed proactive plays, they could
Yes.
really take control of this game three.
Mhm. It's something like the Ari. So if we could pair it up with something like a Vi, like we see in Pro Play oh so often, we could start to see some of these link up plays, and we could start to see some of these guaranteed plays come in. Just something like that. It doesn't have to be that exact combination, but I would love to see something like that come through. And another thing I think is crucial here is that Urgot ban. Get this top laner on the side of WGC on something you're not comfortable on. They have blue side, so they do have the ability to first pick the Urgot if they need to.
Yeah,
So
yeah, I gotta say in that game too, it really felt like the people that were the most impactful for both teams were the people who were on the champs they're comfortable with. It's
mhm.
the Urgot who's most comfortable with that pick, the Xerath for the other side. Did you
Yes.
know? I don't know if you guys noticed, but Xerath actually dealt the most damage on his
Yeah,
entire team,
it was
which
in the game
is
actually.
kind
Yeah,
of crazy. Yeah, but
yeah.
I feel like both teams should take a step back from I don't know why they're set on these three bans on both
Tristana is
sides,
getting banned again.
but
Um,
yeah, we're gonna swing it over to draft and see if either team decides to go for these target bans. Let's see
yeah.
what we got.
Is it gonna be what is it? The Kindred? Yep. And then what is it
Oh
on this
no,
side?
man.
It's the
Oh,
wait. Let me guess. It's gonna be the Wukong.
this is not what I want to see, man. I want to see some target bans. Come on,
Come on.
this isn't pro play. You don't have to ban the Z tier picks unless it's Zerayumi,
Ban the
Patrick
Wukong for
Twitto,
me.
you know?
Ban the Wukong. Because then I can look very smart. Oh,
Oh, the
Seraphine. Oh
Seraphine. Well, that's
God.
the other
And
man.
then ooh, they're
Oh, but
mixing it up. The
there's a little bit of
Blitzcrank ban.
adaptation here. Yeah, the Blitzcrank. I
Uh,
think the Zerath is not enjoying these hook champions. He's not
yeah, but the
enjoying.
Xerath has been banned away here. It was the most picked champ, and this the Zyban. The Argots left up. Do they want to first pick it? That is the question here.
I feel like after a performance like that, it's his pretty comfortable pick. He was
Mhm.
able to get some solo kills. I feel like maybe
Yeah.
you just ego it and say, "Look, blind pick me the champion I'm really good at, and we'll see
Hmm.
what happens." So,
Yeah. Oh,
oh, there's no
Nasus.
way. There's no way.
Lil Kenny. Oh, on. Okay.
There's a safe pick, the Orn.
Yeah.
Okay.
So on. That's and here's the Wukong. I do believe it is a uh TC jungler's priority to hit this Wukong. It could be a flex, however. Um, the
Man,
on
I don't know.
is
I as soon as they didn't ban the Wukong, it got picked up. Maybe these teams have scouted each other out, and I just
yeah.
don't, and I'm just missing it. Maybe I just don't
Yeah,
know.
I couldn't really see the Wukong anywhere, but I just had to imagine that it's gonna be the there is often communication between the teams. They play with each other outside in the Risen ecosystem. So maybe they have prior knowledge of what this jungler likes to play or something like that. Karma picked up, which is a interesting one.
Yeah, that's
Now that Seraph has been
that's
banned away.
yeah, that's a little bit of a different sort
Hmm.
of play style from Xerath. You do
Yeah.
have some poke, but it takes a little bit more sort of knowledge of
Hmm.
positioning and what you
And
want
there's
to
the
do.
Viego that wasn't banned away.
There's the Viego, yeah. Maybe these guys just are way smarter than me, and I just have no
Yeah.
clue what I'm saying.
And this is a slightly different jungle matchup to what we had seen between it's two bruisers here rather than something like the Rengar or the no, not Kindred, sorry, Nidalee that we saw in the previous game. And here's the
Where's
cards picked up.
Kaisa?
It's been the primary AD carry for the side of WGC. They picked up in all 3 games now.
Yeah,
Um,
even with Shiv Nerf, the hybrid and the AP Kaisa builds
yeah.
both very strong. Aphelios, another really solid marksman. So just
Mhm.
playing it safe, going for those nice scaling, strong champions in the bot lane. But it is
As the
shaping up to
got
be
banned away.
quite a different draft than we've seen in the first 2 games. It's pretty interesting seeing what's happening here.
Yeah, I would imagine the Ornn
There's the
is
target bans.
yeah. I would imagine the Ornn is going to be moved into this mid lane here. Thresh banned away. That's the one we saw in the first game and can be I don't know. I don't think I really mind Thresh into a Felios Karma, but with it's obviously comfort for the sides of WGC. It's their most played champion, and Silas is going to be banned away. They banned away a lot of these melee mid laners, which have been the priority, I believe, for the mid laner on the side of TC here.
I'm thinking Silas, that might be an indicator that they're looking to go for a Malphite and put
Mm-hmm.
the Ornn mid lane again. They might be
Yep.
going for that, but again, that's just what I do when I see a Silas ban. I pick the Malphite.
Mm-hmm.
So that's just
Yeah,
personal
it's
bias.
uh, it's the Malphite. There's another one, Scion, picked up here.
Ooh,
Uh, that could
strong
be
flanker.
that could be mid or top lane again. We did just see 2 top lane tanks just shoved into the mid lane last game. And
Yeah,
let the
that was kind of
junglers
weird.
carry. Yeah.
I, I don't know what I don't know. Oh, there's the
It's the
Gwen
Gwen
again.
picked
All
up,
right.
but that's on the opposite side this time. So that's picked up in response, and the Rel picked up
Ooh,
here, which has been one of the premier supports. It got tagged a bit on this patch just coming into this game,
I
but
think Rel is a very strong support right now. A
yeah,
very
she is
strong
still
champion in general. Actually,
like so.
she's been
So if they
seen in
pick
the
Aatrox,
jungle
where the hell
lately.
is it going? Yeah, she has been sitting in the jungle. I know.
Hmm?
Doanel has been kind of the pioneer of that on YouTube, being the horse king, I believe he's calling himself.
Ooh,
um,
there's an Azir in the mid lane. I'm not too
yeah,
sure about that. You've got to
I
be
mean,
able to know what you're doing with that champion.
yeah, I think Azir in pro play has been picking up a bit more steam, but in solo queue and in amateur play, if they're not the most comfortable in it, they don't know exactly what they're doing. It's not this guaranteed scaling and guaranteed lane threat into this melee matchup like it was before. But I think it might be difficult for either of these champions, the Ornn and the Azir, to punish each other in this lane. But the Ornn does have the setup to maybe get on top of that Azir, start to stop the dash away or stop the shuffle. And have you seen the really funny interaction, by the way, where Azir tries to ult and then Ornn headbutts the ult and destroys the terrain?
Yeah. Ornn destroys terrain that gets built up. So Azir's wall does count as a terrain, so it can get destroyed.
Yeah.
Same with the Azir ult, the Anivia wall,
Uh huh.
everything like that. Ornn's headbutt thing will destroy it. So
Yeah. So
interesting.
I mean, like I've never ever seen Ornn versus Azir mid lane in my life, but it it's going to be an interesting one. I'm not quite sure. Yeah, as I said, I'm not sure who's winning. I'm not sure who's losing in that matchup. But yeah, I think overall, WGC, both sides have a quite an incredible scaling team fight comp. To be honest,
Yeah,
um,
these comps are really interesting, and there's a
yeah,
lot of really impactful ults, and
hmm
there's just so many impactful ults on both sides of the aisle.
yeah,
You got Wukong and Azir for some really strong AoE. Pair
hmm
that with an Aphelios ult, and you've got a
yeah,
really nice combo. But the Rel engage is
hmm
super strong if you aren't ready for it. and you pair that with an Ornalt, and you can get some Viego resets
Yeah,
going,
you have
and they
Gwen,
can take on
Gwen on top of it. We did
easily there
see,
too.
we did see what the Gwen could do in the last game. Just a bit. It did start to come online. It did get shut down throughout the game by that Urgot. But if it's piloted better and starts to go even or even get some leads here, the Gwen can be devastating, especially on top of the Ornn, on top of the Rel. But saying that, so can the Azir, so can the Aphelios. These are all big hyper carry threats in the late game, in the team fight. And then the Scion, the Ornn, both very beefy when it comes to these fights. So yeah, I think I'm not quite sure who I'd give it to. I think maybe WGC is a little less committal and they have more obvious go buttons. But saying that Wukong can just spin on top of people and kill them, so yeah, I really have no idea. I think it's going to be very interesting, very exciting, very fight heavy like the game we had prior, and I have no way which way it's going to go. Do you have an idea?
I do think that it could go either way. I think it's going to come down a lot to the decisions these teams make, how they play the fights, the individual skill of all the
Yeah,
players.
it's gonna be heavy on the execution.
I do think that WGC's solo lanes are probably a little bit better. I think the Gwen is probably going to have a really easy time into Scion.
Yeah.
Ornn is not going to be able to be poked out too much by the Azir. So I think WGC's solo laners are going to have a stronger laning phase. But if TC is able to weather that storm and come together as a team and make some plays happen, it could go either way. I think they're almost evenly matched here.
Yeah, it's definitely some picks coming out of left field. That is it, that Karma, maybe, and the Viego. Although apparently they expected it. The Viego, the Ornn mid lane again.
I do want to say these supports are both on champions that they're a little bit different from the supports they've been playing. The Karma is not quite so much a poke as much as she is an enchanter. The Rel, I expected a Nautilus pick, to be honest. I was like, oh, Blitz, Thresh, the next took champions Nautilus. But Rel is a little bit different, right? You can't, if you miss something, you're not just standing there, you're over there now, and it's kind of bad. So, uh, not like Rel is bad or like player is bad or anything, but if you mess up and you're over in the middle of the enemy team and you sort of get caught out like that, it's a little bit worse than just a Blitzcrank missing a hook.
Yeah. And we have, especially in this league before, Sinrel do that. With Sinrel just go in, stand there, do nothing.
Oh yeah.
But I think if executed properly, it is all on execution. If Azir finds a shuffle, if Wukong finds an angle, if Viego finds resets, if Rel finds the engage, that's all it's going to come down to in these fights. Unless there's massive mistakes in the laning phase, then these fights are going to be big.
I'm hoping to see the Aphelios take cleanse against the Rel. I think it's a pretty important summoner spell to take here.
Yeah, because the Rel, the knock-up isn't that long, but it's how long she can. It's what comes after the knock-up, which you can cleanse away from, which is really big.
Spear.
Yeah. And also, doesn't the E stun?
The E, I'm pretty sure the E now is just like it's a sort of like a movement speed boost thing, and you.
I know it has AOE damage. I don't know if it stuns.
Maybe for a little bit, but anyway, we are going into a short spectator delay break for Game 3. Don't go anywhere because we'll be right back and find out if Rel's E stuns people when we get into this game.
We are back with game 3. It's been an exciting, action-filled couple of games so far, and hopefully we'll have another action-filled game 3 here. Looks like Azir has opted for a cull. He is well aware that he's not going to be doing anything into his turn lane.
Yeah.
He said, "Look, I'm just going to get the farm and get my items, and we'll play for Mitch."
Oh, top lane are dancing together.
Some mutual respect. It's very nice. We like it.
You don't see that between mid laners, do you?
No. Of course not. I gotta get my mana flow band going, bro. Oh,
Yeah,
it looks like Kai'Sa's heal is on cooldown. I think that was a misclick. Because she has full health and there's been no action. I think she just misclicked heal.
Yeah, just 3 calls in this game. Both junglers pathing up towards this top lane. I think that's a smart choice. They need other side of WGC on the blue side there. They need to make sure this Gwen gets ahead of this time, because if we look, there's nothing happening in the mid lane, right? And in the bot lane, unless Rel finds an angle, it should be quite easy to keep them off each other. So this Gwen vs Sun is the only one with a very clear advantage.
Yeah, but it looks like both top laners might just end up full clearing. There might not be any action for quite some time. Unless
Yeah, for a while. There's going to be a ward on these Raptors. They're going to have knowledge that they're going to be pathing up to the top side. They're gonna know where this Viego is. They're also going to see his ATS. They're going to know he cleared Red and Krugs beforehand. So yeah, there's going to be full knowledge. This Scion should be able to keep relatively safe here. Maybe even find one of those good deaths we always talk about.
A good death. I don't like that playstyle at all.
I am not the biggest fan of it. Although it is a great excuse when I'm griefing my games.
I'm sure it's fun to watch if you're not on that team.
Yeah. Viego's just going to be a bit quicker, so he's going to be able to get to this top lane quicker and impact it quicker. As there's going to be shove from the Aphelios Karma as expected in this lane, and yep, no one has taken any damage in this mid lane really.
Not too much happening when got a fairly large wave stacked up.
Mm-hmm.
See if that ends up impacting some ganks here.
I think with these faster waves that were introduced on 1310, these stacked waves have become even more punishing looking for these early dives, but Wukong is there to cover. Diego's just going to look for this scuttle crab. Owen's going to be able to hover, not really missing too much in that mid lane there. And Wukong is going to lose on this top crab. And with the pressure that Owen has been able to generate, getting this shove in, and says pressure on the top side.
Gwen's up a little far. Wukong there, the flash forward. He's not quite able to close it out, but the flash from Viego, that's the first blood actually going over to Viego for WGC. Action in the bot lane as Rel engages on the Karma, who stepped up a little far. She's ignited. Kaisa walking forward. Did not get autoed by the Aphelios, so she did not get stunned there. And Rel going in onto the ADC now. That's a 2v1, but there's a lot of minions there. And the late flash, that is 2 kills for WGC's bot lane.
That's
And Gwen lived there. That is crazy. She was one auto from dying, and Wukong is just not able to secure it.
Oh, that brittle auto, yeah. This is looking a little bit like game 1 here, to be honest. It's there's been there's a play attempted on the top side from Wukong trying to punish this overextended Gwen, and Gwen escapes with just a sliver of HP. Viego managed to pick up the kill. It went very well on the side of WGC there, but it's game 1, sorry, but it's on the opposite team is the benefactor of it.
Yeah, again,
the play
just
not
they
quite
go for a
working.
play and they get punished for it on both sides of the map, to be honest, because in the bot lane, Rel was only able to get that engage off because Karma stepped so close. So both sides just getting punished for a not very clean engage there.
Yeah, indeed. They need to it's as we said, execution is going to be key in these fights and even in these lanes. And WGC just executed a little bit cleaner than TC there, so it's really well played from them as Viego on the side of Ace Bets there has snuck in for another one of these lane ganks. They're just going to sit in this bush and let the Aphelios come and push towards, try to get that gank.
One's got to be careful here. She could just get dove. That's the Q. That's the E and the grasp auto, and she's just dead.
Aphelios, Viego went a bit too early, sorry.
Low.
Just a bit too early. Yeah, Gwen's going to lose a massive wave for that.
Yeah, and I feel like, I don't know, did she not come back with any potions or something? You can't be getting that low on a huge wave like that. Azir goes in, the wall, Ornn just smashes his head against the wall and says, hey, now that I'm gonna walk it out.
Yeah, Viego's just gonna walk it out. That must hurt, right? You imagine that hurt.
I mean, he's a ram, and rams, biologically, rams are like supposed to smash their heads.
What rams are supposed to ram?
Yeah.
Rams that be ramming.
It's like one of their they do it for fun or whatever. So it's not like he's a guy just smashing his head in.
Yeah, well, I think probably the Viego's a core here.
Viego a little bit dangerous. His team is
here.
Just
gonna be able to...
Not much gonna come from it.
Yeah, Wukong and Azir recognizing where the Viego's going to be on the red buff respawn there. As they've got Vision everywhere, they just they would have seen him on the Raptors, so they're just going to have the ability to walk in, see if they can force him off. They're not going to find anything. Rel was around, so although Karma and Aphelios have found this push and they're going to be able to try and move this over to the Hextech Drake if they want to, I think Viego might have something to say about it coming into the bot lane after the Crocs.
I feel like this might have been a little bit of a missed opportunity there. You crashed such a big wave. Crouch flashes forward, misses the knockup, but lands the stun. Karma taking a lot of damage, but so is Rel. The Ignite goes down, but no kills on either side. The heal came out from Kaisa as well.
Yeah, and all this lead, this just about 1,000 gold lead right now, is all on this Kaisa in those 2 kills now. That's CS lead. Although there's...
Well, this Scion is very strong. He's just stepping forward. Knockup lands, ulting, trying to trade some damage back, but her Q missed, so she's not going to get that much.
Ward's going to be traded?
Man, they're still trading in the top lane. But I really feel like there was a missed opportunity there. You've got plenty of vision around the dragon. You crash big wave, you can just walk your bot lane over and take that early dragon, I feel like.
Yeah.
But
Like,
I don't know, maybe just a little bit scared of Ornn running over. I think Ornn still has ult, so maybe that's what they're afraid of.
I'm not really quite understanding this mid matchup. I feel like Azir should just be able to get shove whenever he really wants, because although this on should never be able to die, they should never be able to step up from the CS and contest the shove in the wave. Oh, the shove.
There's the ult. Ornn a little low, and he's going to be taken down. And maybe that's what they were going for. Maybe he just doesn't want to shove it. Maybe he wants to keep it in the middle.
Yep.
Try and bait the enemy mid laner forward so he can get his jungler to gank for him. But I totally know what you're saying here. Is you should be able to just push the wave out and roam with his jungler, so they don't even have to make a play mid.
Yeah. There's big stacked wave here, and Wukong is hovering around top side. There should be no contest on this red arrow from the side of WGC as there's a dodge.
But he's got a lot of minions here with him. The ult comes out, but Gwen not tanking the minions anymore.
Moving?
His jungler is just not reacting at all. He's just staying on Herald.
Screw you, top laner.
That is a kill for the Gwen there. But they do pick up the Herald.
Yeah, I think Sion felt safe in that wave being a level up, but yeah, this Gwen damage can be just disrespected when she starts to get a lot of actual damage off the armor that Sion doesn't have apparently. It's just not going to relate to anything.
Yeah, it just feels like one of those. It's just one of those matchups where it's just like, you know, I picked a tank. I really don't deal damage. I just gotta kind of sit around here in the lane and make something happen with my team. Same with, like, I think Darius. Darius is a really pretty good Sion counter because you just stack up bleed passive and then it's, you know.
You really just have to, like, not engage or, like, get something massive on the other side of the map if you want to constitute stepping up to that Darius. But Coles are almost finished on the side of Zir, keeping up that farm almost 10 CS a minute there, which is I would say quite impressive, but it is into this on matchup. There's not really much contention from the Azir in this matchup. But that kill on the Gwen, on the Sion, sorry, going over to that Gwen has allowed her to get this XP back, has allowed her to start to build this gold back that was lost. Though is still a little bit behind in the XP.
Diego the lane gank, and they're unaware of it. Rel gets the knock up on both, and they will both fall very quickly. Very nice lane gank there. But Gwen on the top side, getting the ult off. Sion flashing away. Does she have any ults left? No, she does not. She is not able to secure that kill.
Yeah, but she's still going to be able to get the pressure. She's got a massive HP advantage over Sion if she starts to stack up this Q. There's no.
Oh, and that
what are you doing?
Just a kill. You cannot stop and stand still like that. You see that Gwen has the 4 stacks for her Q. It's going to be a fully charged Q. If you stop moving, you're going to take the true damage in the middle, and it'll kill you very quickly. That is just really bad misplay from him.
Yeah, and it feels like outside of this, this leads occurring all over on the map from the side of WGC here. There's a lead in jungle even, first item picked up on the Viego, that Kraken Slayer. Being a bit of a Viego connoisseur, I don't think Kraken Slayer is like the perfect item to be picked up first right now, but I don't think it matters all too much in the scheme of things. I think there's Herald pop. Are they going to be able to get this first tower here? Do you think?
Yeah, there it is. I think that will be the first tower, and I think it's a pretty smart Herald. But Sion ulting in. I think this Gwen's a little bit caught out. She will go down. That's a shutdown going over. Not too bad. But I think Herald mid lane is the correct play. You want to get the Sephir who can just push in the lane. You want to get him so that he can push it a little bit further and then gets a lot of time for him to roam and make some plays on the map.
Yeah, this is where your goal is, it's where your security is, it's your main late game carry now, but the Felios being O2 falling behind.
Azir just taking a teleport. Maybe a little bit early. The WGC hadn't gone for the engage yet, so they're able to just safely walk back, but maybe he's just teleporting to prevent the play altogether just before anything happens. There's nothing wrong with that either.
he knew Wukong would be able to pick it up in the mid lane and doesn't want to. So I think if this rogue does manage to go into this Aphelios and the ult comes out.
It was slow, but they're getting really aggressive, and that Rel goes in with the Kai'Sa ulting onto the back of this ADC, and they're going to be able to get another 2 kills. And it is looking really, really bad for TC now. Their bot lane, both ADC and support, 0, 3, and 0.
Yeah. And I do just want to say thank you to the support of WGC for perfectly explaining my point without even me having to say any words. If they get on top of the bot lane here, they're still incredibly squishy, and this Kai'Sa with the static shiv and half an item is just going to one-shot them if she gets this passive stack up.
No, there's no dive here. But yeah, there's just, again, with the disrespect. If you don't see Rel on the map, you have to assume she's just hiding around the corner. Oh, and there's a engage here going on. Viego ults over the Azir wall. Flash is coming out. Ornn barely lives. No, he does not live. He dies to the Leandri's burn, and that'll be a 1-for-1. Oh, he runs into the Wukong here.
Wukong wins
his ult. One charge of his ult. Here comes the second, and Viego gets shut down. They're looking for some kills in the bot lane here, but Rel is going to probably be able to walk it out. And nothing comes out of that. But Gwen going in on the top lane here. That's her ult. That's the Q. She doesn't quite have the damage here. She's tanking the tower. This could be a turnaround here. Sion getting the kill onto Gwen. Getting a little bit greedy there and tanking the tower for far too long.
Yeah, force of nature and the Merc treads picked up here on the side of just gone full MR to try counter this Gwen as much as possible, to just try tank as much of this damage in this lane phase as possible, and I don't think Gwen was aware of that. I think she's disrespecting that, and it allowed Sion to, although Gwen does do a lot of true damage, it allows Sion to tank up that damage and turn that play around really well played.
Leave her alone, but Karma going for this again. She's just gonna die. Her ADC is not with her, and she's unaware that there are so many members of WGC here. They're going to be able to get this kill onto a... Oh, maybe? No. No, sir. Flashes from both Marksman and Aphelios will die as well. This Karma, it's like I said, they banned out his comfortable Xerath pick. Now he's on a pick that he's a little less comfortable on.
Yep. And
he's going just for straight out poking people and getting punished for it over and over and over. And it just feels like he just hasn't learned that he needs to play further back yet.
Yeah, is it just me, or this doesn't really feel like a 400 gold lead? There's obviously a massive amount of gold on this Azir right now, being like 9 CS a minute, as I'm saying.
They're getting a heavy engage onto this Azir. That is 3, almost 4 people. Azir burning. He is in the enemy jungle, but there's more happening in the mid lane. Ornn and Gwen running out a little bit. Karma going for the engage. Wukong coming out here. That is 1 down. They're looking for the Gwen here, but I think she might be able to run out. The stun lands onto Azir. Kai'Sa is able to pick up the kill. And that overall, it's just a 1-for-1.
Look, yeah, I think.
Oh, but they might be getting this mid tower here. WGC a little bit weak, a little bit low, not comfortable with contesting this. Aphelios Gale Force ult forward, but I mean, Rel's still plenty healthy to just eat it and walk out.
Yeah, I think the fight initially for WGC there was it was a good engage onto this Azir, but I think they split up. The Kite and the Rel went towards the Azir to try to pick that kill up, which I think was probably the best get secure play. But then the rest, the top side of WGC then tried to take the rest of the fight, which without their bot lane, which is where a lot of their gold is.
What's happening here? Oh, Sion's Q gets cancelled by his teammate hitting the plant. But yeah, I saw exactly what you were saying. They had a pick on the Azir. They've just got to run back into their jungle and finish the job, and half their team sticks around in the mid lane for way too long and gets punished for it.
Yeah, they found their play. They used their tempo on that play.
But here comes a big fight over Herald. Sion going for the ult in. Herald is already down. It's picked up by Viego. Sion is in there. His team looking for something, but there's not quite anything there. Gwen ulting forward, Rel with the ult, but she's landing nothing. Ornn lands his ult though. They are looking for kills on the Karma. Not able to get it yet. TC kiting back, kill onto the Viego. Very nice pickup there by Wukong. Knock up onto the Ornn. That might be another kill. Wukong ult coming out finally, and there's the Azir ult as well. That's a double kill, a triple kill. Is this the Penta? Is this the Penta? That's 4. They're going for the 5th, and it's just the ADC left. Somebody speed this guy up. He flashes for it. That's the pentakill for Watcher on Wukong. Oh my goodness. That's crazy.
Yeah, it started to look out quite an even fight with the health plasma ticking down on their own. But then they chased into the jungle on the side of TC, and the Viego had no resources left. The Kaiser was starting to get damaged. The Ornn had no Ornn Horn. There was no needlework there on the Gwen. And then with nothing up, no peel, that Wukong just managed to go in, and when he gets these 1.5 items, 2 items, he will really start to shred with that Cyclone there, and he starts shredding, and the Sunderer, and stops popping these squishier champions and even these tankier champions at this point in the game. So I think it was just well played, and I think it was just a bit of a mistake over chasing into the jungle there from WGC.
Yeah, really, really, really nice kiting from TC there. Holding their abilities, biding their time, moving back, and then when it got into this kind of confusing scuffle, Wukong and Azir are able to team up with those big AoE ults and just turn the fight on its head. Right now, TC's jungler is 7-0, no deaths. He has got the team on his back right now. They're actually up a couple thousand gold with an ADC that's 1-5 and a support that's 0-4. It's pretty crazy. They're actually pushing mid lane here, looking to take towers as a team. But the rel engage on 5! That's a huge stun, the Ornn ult, and it is pandemonium. Everyone is falling, the rel falls, but there are so many more kills going over to WGC. Karma's trying to kite it out, but Sion's dead as well. And that is a gigantic engage for rel. Oh my goodness, the perfect rel engage onto the entire team.
Yeah, they're gonna
and
look
all
towards the
5 are down for TC, and this is gonna be a Baron.
Yeah, that was only losing the round that in the process of that ace, and it just like it was in an instant. Rel was flashing, Wing, ulting, founding for people with the Ornn Horn came instantly. Really well played team fight there from the side of WGC. And this has now massively turned the pace of the game. 2k gold leading now towards them. They're gonna base. They're gonna pick up these items, get back on the map. They're now all running for the Infernal Drake. TP coming in from the Sion there, I believe, as they're running toward it.
And what's worse is Kaisa picked up that shutdown onto Wukong, that huge shutdown going over to the very, very fed ADC with 9 kills. That is bad news right now. So TC trying to pick up this quick dragon before WGC can react to it. They do get the Infernal. But yeah, that 5-man stack, rel going in there and getting that huge engage, that was massive for her team. That was really well done. Layering it with the Ornn ult too, that just sealed the deal for the fight instantly. You can't. That is the one thing you cannot be doing when your lead is teetering on the edge like that. And now the 2,000 gold lead is going over the other team. Ornn is looking for the engage, misses his ult, but rel gets the stun onto Karma once again. The support just up too far, just too confident and punished for it once again. And now with Baron, WGC is pushing down the mid lane.
Yeah. And it's this they're just gonna have the ability to walk up and siege this hybrid.
TC's mid laner actually teleporting here. He realizes he stayed in bot lane for too long and needs to help his team defend.
Yeah, this hybrid Kai'Sa, this Gwen have the ability to shred down these turrets if they manage to start hitting them. So with this AP coming through, that's another big advantage of this hybrid build with the static shiv. Starts to shred through these turrets really incredibly quickly there.
Oh man. So this Wukong, he's got his team on his back right now. He's got to figure out a way to carry this game, or else it might be over.
Yeah, and I think he's really gonna have problems trying to get onto these backline in these fights. I think that now with this Viego being so hard, if he leaves this as here, Viego's going to jump on, Ornn's going to jump on, Rel's going to jump on, and they have the damage now to chop through them in this fight. Whereas in that early fight where he did find that pentakill, the items weren't quite there, the damage wasn't quite there, and so they didn't have the ability to shut him down. Whereas I think now coming into these team fights, they will have the ability to shut him down. So
yeah, Kaisa's picked up the stopwatch as well. That is going to make it very, very difficult for him to carry these fights. Even if he gets onto the back line here, Kaisa's going to stopwatch, and her team is plenty strong enough to get rid of the threat before she comes out of stasis or relay the CC down. But there's a gank happening here.
I don't know, right?
And they're going for the kill onto the Ornn. I think Wukong's going to ult. They're going to deny that Ornn ult there, and he is going to fall. But WGC is pushing for the bot lane. There's the Viego ult, the flash away from Aphelios. He's just barely going to live, but Rel is here to back up her jungler. They're going to try and walk it out. Azir dashing forward, getting 2. And that was a huge shuffle from him to pick up both of those kills just as they were about to get away.
Yeah, it's just overextending, trying to push these turrets. Viego thought he found a pick onto Aphelios, but this Karma, even being 06, still provides a massive shielding threat as Azir. Oh my god, he's
Azir going forward to get punished instantly. He did not realize how strong that Kaisa was. Wukong trying to run her down. She's got the heal and the stopwatch, but she's got nothing. No teammates around. And there's the shutdown. Going to the Wukong, that's exactly what we wanted to see. If he's going to carry this game, he needs to be getting that gold. He is the big threat on their team right now. If he's getting the kills, it's a good sign.
Yeah, as much as it sucks to say, this Aphelios being 2 items behind is somewhat out until you hit the 40-minute mark anyway. So it's good to see the gold getting onto this Wukong, who can actually do damage, who is actually a threat to these squishy champions, to the Gwen, to the Kai'Sa. So yeah, I think the gold on the Wukong is very good there, as the Baron is only a minute away, sorry, and the Drake a minute away. Also, the objective spawning at the same time. And if they were to pick up this Infernal Sword, it would put them on soul point on the side of WGC, which would be an obvious avenue for them to win. And I think if they did manage to pick it up, it'd be very difficult from the side of TC to counteract that and combat that with the amount of stats it gives and the bonus it gives with the on-hit explosion there. But
TC's jungler just picking up his 3rd item. It's going to be the Starax. And I actually think this is a pretty good buy. He's going to be getting in there and mixing it up in this team. They've got a lot of damage, so he's got to be able to make sure that he lives long enough to actually get his damage off. So this kind of bruiser build is not too bad here, I think. It's not an assassin thing. He's not going to be able to... Well, I don't think he'd be able to dive the Kaisa even if he had an assassin items. Sorry, go on. I might have been talking over you a little bit. Oh, the Azir teleporting over.
Yeah. When teleporting here also.
TC is first to the dragon, but Azir is not with them. If WGC sees this and pulls the trigger, but it's not happening quite yet. Here's some poke, the Ornn ult, the Wukong ult, and the fight is getting started. Ornn ult lands on 3 members of TC. Viego gets the kill on Karma, but the ADC is down. They're looking for more. The Azir, the Aphelios by themselves, but Viego's not able to finish the job quite yet. The ult, but he's not able to get it. Rel stun comes out. Gwen picks up the kill onto the ADC. Ornn is standing alone as Rel runs away, and this fight looks like it's going over to TC. They're going to be able to get the next dragon.
And it's as we've been saying since that fight, since that pentacle, it's this Wukong. He found the ability to get on top of that Kai'Sa there, without that Kai'Sa, without that big damage threat. Some of these members like the Scion, the Wukong, and the shielding the Karma provides make them way too tanky for members like the Viego to chop through. And if you can't get those kills, you can't get those resets, and those resets are really what you need to start winning these fights. So yeah, I think it's
Baron. They might be able to get this. I don't think.
Yeah, I think
WGC is in position to counter this actually. But that team fight was looking really, really good for WGC. The Ornn ult landed onto a lot of the enemy team. Rel is getting caught out a little bit here, walking forward into the enemy team, but there's the ult to lock it, but she's going to fall. TC, still everyone alive here. Wukong walking forward, there's the ult on 3, and Diego's dead.
Ice is still very
fast.
The
shutdown onto Wukong. Kaisa is still alive, but there's the knock up onto 2. 2 more dead. Ornn by himself gets 1 kill, but he is going to fall pretty quickly here. Karma trying to kite it out, run away. The Ornn Q is not able to land, and that's a quadra kill. Little gamer boy is back, back in the game with 6 kills now.
Little gamer boy look more like slightly bigger gamer boy now after he got all those kills. 550 gold bounty there. He's going to be able to go pick up that Bloodthirster there. And if that wave was there...
gamer boy. And it feels like that fight shouldn't have happened at all. WGC should be aware that Baron is gone. They should, at that point, you know, the Baron's gone already. There's no reason for Rel to be walking into the river like that. If Rel doesn't walk in there and the team doesn't follow behind her, all of that doesn't happen, and TC doesn't get this big lead here.
Yeah, and although there have been some shining moments from Israel, especially like when TC was sieging that bot turret and they find that massive engage there, that mid turret, sorry, that was a big blunder, as some would say, just stepping up there, and then their team. I think WGC should have just left them to die, but they tried to follow up. They tried to find that little extra, trying to find something on the way out to trade for that row. And although the gold lead hasn't been too big, you can see obviously through the map and through the items that Aphelios has now been able to pick up, picking up that last whisper, going to go towards the LDR there. They're starting to find their way back into the game. This still leads on the primary carries, the Gwen and the Kaiser up there, but there's equal amounts of damage coming through from this. It's 3 items down, which we haven't really mentioned, but he's a big threat in these team fights as well. 2 minutes to the dragon. Whoever gets this dragon will move to soul points. So it's going to be 2 dragons time to the important one is.
This Gwen here, they like walked into each other there, and neither of them reacted for a moment there. That was crazy.
Yeah, it's just.
Yeah, but it really feels like Rel is going for the engage with their team, these big AoE fights, and it almost feels like that's not what you want your support to do at the moment. Even with the Zhonya's, Kaisa is getting killed by this Wukong. You've got to peel your ADC at this point. Don't look for these giant engages anymore, right?
Yeah, I feel like the point of Rel is to keep this Wukong off Kaisa, to keep this Aphelios off Kaisa. And if this Aphelios massively overextends, there is something to look for. But
if she's going for these engages and not getting the Wukong, and Wukong's just going on to the Kaisa. Yeah, but there's the engage. Ornn and Rel teaming up. Oh, but the Ornn was cancelled actually, doesn't land. But 2 down. Kaisa ulting into the back here, looking to kill the Azir. And that's going to be another one. Sion ulting. Where's he going? Where's he going? We don't know where he's going. He's going anywhere. He's going to the other side of the universe. And he lives. That's insane. 4 members down. Oh, no, he doesn't live. He dies to the minion. And that's a clean ace for WGC. 5-2-0. That is wild. They're going to push for this inhibitor with these death timers. I don't think they'll end the game, but they should be able to get the inhibitor.
This is going to be the mid inhib, and also crucially 30 seconds till this dragon. They're going to be able to get the setup. They're going to be able to get soul point, and the ornaments are coming through. Viego now has it. Rel has it. Kaisa has it. Everyone's getting their ornaments apart from this Gwen. Maybe leaving around a little bit. That's going to be the inhibitor. They need to get out. They don't want to do any overextending plays. Yep. Okay. They're going to get out. They're going to claim this dragon as well. Top turret as well.
And I did mention that you kind of want the Rel to focus a little bit more on peeling here for the Kaisa rather than engage, but a nice clean engage like that where your whole team's followed up. Your ADC is by a tower, so there's not too much danger to him. That's a really clean engage from him and a really good play. And that play leads to them getting the inhibitor and the dragon. So very nice from them.
I think the key was marking that Wukong, keeping sure that the Wukong couldn't do too much damage to the Kaisa, who was the one dealing with the damage in that fight. Making sure they were aware of his position at all times and making sure he wasn't becoming too much of a threat there. Yeah, and that is, however, the third item picked up on the Aphelios. It was the Lord Dominator Guard instead of the Bloodthirster, sorry. But Kaiser is now full build, all 5 items picked up there, including that Rabadon's, that 40% Rabadon's, which still feels a little OP to me, but apparently 35 is underpowered, so...
And both teams with their mid inhibitors down, looking for positioning on this Baron here. Only difference is TC has got all 5 members. WGC has their top laner split pushing in the bot lane. Could be a good decision here. They've got to send someone to match him, I think.
Yeah, and Gwen does have the teleport, so as this base comes through from the why are they sending Karma back? Yeah, no, there's Vizier there as well, who's going to be able to match the teleport.
They could have run out of wards.
Yeah,
in any case, they just give up all priority on this Baron because Gwen is in the bot lane. Here comes the teleport from Azir, but it's pretty late. Oh my goodness, Baron's at 2k. You've got to finish it. New team slays the Baron. Wukong getting Zult off, but he's not on the ADC quite yet. He gets shredded before he can kill the Kai'Sa. Azir ult, and everyone is grouped up for Azir's soldiers to just shred through them. That's going to be 4 going down for WGC.
This is not how we're going to believe spell the end of the game with the static shift still up. The Kaiser is going to be able to bait and clear through these waves along with the super minions up. It's not going to spell the end of the game. It's going to be back and forth, time and time again in these team fights. It's really getting it's really coming down to the
35 minutes, and it's just been one side winning each team fight back and forth for a while now. Are they going to go for the end? They've got 10 seconds left. They're looking to get something here. But the Baron minions from Kai'Sa are going to help her out a little bit. One tower falls. She's doing a pretty good job of clearing. She might go for some poke here with her W.
Yeah, and I think this isn't the
here's the teleport. They're looking for something, but the other team knows. They're going to the bot side here. They split up. Karma looking to run out. Warren's still moving. Is anything going to happen here? Oh, Ornalt coming out. Catches out Karma once again. She's up too far. And there's just no reason to stop there and start hitting the crab. You've got to run all the way when somebody teleports on you like that. And that's a 40-second death timer. That gives WGC a lot of time. Their ADC still has Baron buff. They could look to do some major damage here, or even end the game if they get a really good engage. Yeah. They've got Rel and Ornn together. Ornn doesn't have his ult, but they can still get a really nice engage off with the Rel.
Rel Viego just sitting there on the sides looking for anything, looking for any overextension.
Oh, but they're getting poked out quite a lot. This Aphelios dealing some decent damage now. He's managed to claw his way back into the game after a few fights.
Yeah. Still an item and a half behind, but at this point Aphelios does start to do incredible damage, especially as the levels start to get up. Still far behind this Kai'Sa, but it's not as noticeable. He's going to be able to clear these waves, get this chunk out, and now it's all going to come down, I believe, to whoever wins this fight over the Drake. Both the inhibitors are exposed. There's starting to be Nexus turrets to fill. So, yeah, everyone's cautious.
He's got to recall together. TC could look for a pick here, but there's one reset off. That's the ADC. He's not with his team. Gwen will still Wukong. And that's just one altar down for this incoming dragon fight. That could be pretty impactful there, but just not recalling together. The ADC goes back without his team. Wukong's able to start to engage on them, and because of that, Gwen has to blow her ult, and that's pretty bad.
This Gwen ult's not going to be up for another 40 seconds, so there's still going to be 20 seconds after the Drake spawns, where Gwen does not have this ultimate ability.
Both teams moving together.
Gwen has to respond to the bot wave. Does not have a teleport up either, so...
Oh, this could just be a free dragon.
Yeah. It is.
You have to be very, very careful for any picks this late into the game. Rel, she's
starting to look like WGC are just looking to give this one
get
up.
Caught here. The flash, Ornalt, but his team is just not close enough to follow up on that, and that's a really big ult to not have for this dragon fight. Really jumped the gun there. That could cost them the objective.
There are super minions pushing in this mid lane, and San and Ezir do have TPs up, both of them. So it's gonna basically clear those
Lost fight here for WGC is disastrous. Teleport coming out from Azir. He is going for it.
San's stopping the base.
TC looking to try and cancel
but
back.
Gwen's gonna get her
They're
base
really
up.
not canceling. Oh, there's one cancels back, but Gwen and Viego are collapsing on Azir in the base. Kaisa by herself. The Zanyas comes out, but she is going to fall.
Azir ended
the game is over. Azir just ended the game.
Oh, he had that. Oh my god!
Oh my
That's
god!
Such an abrupt end.
Off camera, he ends the game in the face of two people spitting in their face, and TC wins the series.
God.
Oh my god.
Honestly, I was thinking throughout that whole game. I think WGC's got this. I think they're gonna hold out. I think this Kaiser's gonna come up big in fights. But yeah, I did mention on the offhand that Azir and San did both have their TPs up this way, pushing in mid, and he just TP'd and he just ended.
I mentioned it. I was like, he's teleporting, but there's two people going to match him. There's no way he ends the game here. And I just stopped looking. He managed to take an entire tower and the Nexus by himself. That is a crazy, crazy play. That is like that is a play that an insane person makes.
Yeah, I mean,
I can't believe it.
I could imagine they're shouting about XPK somewhere in the in the VC there, but I don't know if anyone really caught the POV of what happened, or if that's just gonna live in the fault of history as just a very abrupt end to the game. But it was TC taking home that game. Is it? I actually don't know their name. Sorry, let me just have a look. Team Chill, Team Cool, Team Chill, Team Chill taking home that series 2-1. They're gonna remain unbeaten here. 4-0 now, looking as one of the top teams in the league here, along with Jin Air, Glad Plains here. So yeah, I think that was a very exciting, very back and forth, scrappy game there. With these tanks brawling, with Gwen Kaiser chopping through, and then Wukong finding these engages, Ralph finding these engages all over, and yeah, it was a tad bit anticlimactic, if I may say, but
Oh, I wouldn't say that's anticlimactic. I would
well,
say it was
okay, well,
for sure, though.
like I was looking for that one last big team fight, but it was, yeah, it was.
The game ended
I'm
during a fight. I mean, that was crazy.
I'm lost for words. That's what I'm gonna say.
Wow, what an incredible series.
Mhm.
I'm not sure if we're gonna do an interview today. I think we've asked. There's two players. Are we gonna interview two players at the same time? We could try that.
The double interview. It would be funny if they were opposite teams and we just had them brawl out.
Yeah, let's
But
get one player from each team in here so they can curse each other out. Let's see that.
no, who wants to be pulled in for the interview? Put them in. I think we're ready.
Just kidding. All right, who we got?
Oh,
Hold on a second. We've got Gumi, and we've got Watcher. So we've got your top side over here. Let me tell you, did either of you expect your mid laner to just go ahead and end the game like that?
So we had the mid push, and that was pretty much the specific reason that we had it was so we could do the TP play, and he called for it. He said, "Guys, go, keep going, engage, to where I can just end the game." So yeah, it was Marge's call to just end the game.
Marge definitely led that call there. Marge was like, "I got this." We're like, "Just stop back." So we're like, "Okay." So we just forced in, in the jungle and just try to find people that were still recalling.
Yeah,
we managed to find Kaisa, which was easy.
I think we mentioned it on the offhand, but I didn't really think there was much chance with the Viego, the Gwen both collapsing on them. But we really missed it. We didn't really see what happened in the play. Was there a lot of ducking or diving, or did they just like have the damage to end the game?
It was,
Did you really see it?
I mean, we didn't. I kind of thought I would have to like go in and then finish the Nexus, but it was mainly the blue pot. I'm pretty sure that he had that
Oh,
made sure that he
That
did the damage to the
elixir.
towers. Yep.
That's a good pickup.
uh,
Yeah, very nice.
so this was like incredibly premeditated. I mean, it's quite common that you let these super minions push up, right, and then um you let them deal damage to the turrets, take a turret whilst everyone's focused on the dragon. But was this just like premeditated from minutes beforehand? Like you're setting up on this Drake. Oh yeah, we can get this mid push.
Yeah, Marge was big on the mid push before we started Dragon. He was like, just mid push is really important here. We need to really focus on that.
Oh.
And then so it was like kind of like pre-planned for Marge at least, and we just followed.
Watcher, how do you feel about that pentakill this
Yeah,
game?
it feels like 2 years ago now, doesn't it?
On your back for a
Um,
very long time this game. I'll tell you that much.
Yeah,
That must
well,
feel good, right?
yeah, it's been a while since I got a Penta, and I was like, I was yelling at March to not steal it. That was gonna be very sad. So March's like, fine, and so I flashed for it. I thought that was really important. The
Yeah,
certain
you gotta
dominance.
let him have it in a game
Yeah,
like this.
like I don't need this flash. I want a Penta. So
This fight. Yeah, and you guys had a really crushing performance in game one. Game two went a little bit sideways. Did you get a little bit worried about them after game two? Did you have any concerns popping up? I noticed you guys didn't change the draft up too much, but what were your thoughts after that game two?
um, when I missmited Baron, I think that kind of like rattled me a little bit, and I was like, I don't normally missmite, and that was just like when I smited, I said, man, I missmited it, and I just knew right at that point, and I feel like that was really the big turning point in that game. And if I had gone that, could have gone our way, but um,
Yeah.
we recovered, and it was good.
Mhm.
It's all good.
Yeah, I did notice that you guys were winning the fights on the back half of those objectives. So I think if you got those objectives, it would have been a nice clean 2-0. Second game, of course, a little bit harder than the first, but still, you guys put up quite the fight in that game too.
Yeah, this there was a few wacky picks in this game. Do you get comment? It was like the Cassante versus Ornn. Do you guys expect that? Was this Ornn something you had your eyes on? Was the Cassante something you had your eyes on?
So not gonna lie, the draft of when did we play Cassante? Was that game one or was that game two?
Game 2,
I
you
think
played
that was
Cassante.
game two. You had two top laners facing off in the mid lane. It was kind of
We're a
crazy.
tad bit
Oh,
confused. But,
okay, right. So I honestly thought I was going Cassante. They're like, Gumi, what do you want, Tom? I'm like, wait, I'm not going Cassante type. They're like, no. I'm like, oh, okay. But I mean, it's not a bad pick in my opinion.
No.
Because Cassante just does really well into the tanks.
Yeah.
For me, it was a little more difficult because with the range and then the Urgot just flashing on me and Eing basically taking me down to no HP, and then I had a base and made the laning phase a little more difficult.
You guys did look very prepared with these bans because like pretty much for the first two games the bans were the exact same, no? And so just
Yeah,
I don't know
I
what I'm
was
saying.
pretty surprised. I was pretty surprised that neither team seemed really intent to target ban anyone out here. Um, were you guys just not that worried about any picks on the other side, or did you see what they played and just thought, we can counter it pretty easily? What were your thoughts going into drafting?
I think with our first three bans, we normally stay pretty consistent from just the last game, just to make sure that we take any high priority picks for the other team off the board. And then our last two just normally tend to be like, well, what haven't they picked? Or like, how can we, target like whatever rules remaining?
Yeah.
And then
Do y'all
from
got
there.
like a drafting coach?
Do we have a drafting coach?
Yeah, or do you have like somebody who's got a real good idea of how drafting works? Like, do you have a
I
guy
think
like that?
Marge is normally pretty good on what to ban, and we just, we listen, we're like, okay, that works for us, and we just ban it. And Marge has been really good at that. So
Yeah, I know. sometimes I have trouble drafting when I play these 5-man games. I let other people do the drafting for me.
Yeah,
So
yeah, that's fine. You just as long as you can play around what they pick, and it's all good.
somebody's cheering for Gumi in the chat here. Shout out to that guy.
Live from the warehouse.
Twitch chat warehouse. Yeah. Any parting thoughts from either of you guys as we're I think we're wrapping up this interview pretty quickly.
Oh
Any
yeah,
last
you're a
words from
4-0
you,
team.
Simon?
How's that feel?
4-0, yeah, undefeated.
Yeah, top of the league still.
Yeah, I mean, you put an asterisk on week 3. We didn't actually play those, the forfeit from subs, so we're like
Yeah.
4-0, but like 3-0. We're still undefeated either way, but
Either way.
it's
I
cool.
mean, I haven't quite done the maths. How confirmed does this look into playoffs? Do you guys have any idea how the rest of your schedule looks? If this means you're in playoffs or what you need to do to get into playoffs confirmed?
Our next game, we play a team that's 0-4, which seems like easy win on paper, but like you never know. Like
Yeah, anything could happen in draft league.
anything
Yeah, has
happens. So
happened.
we're definitely got to focus on that game coming up, and make sure we go 5-0. And then I think our last week we played the other team that's undefeated. So we're looking at honestly a not easy schedule last 2 weeks.
No. So yeah, any shouts? Any parting words before we let you guys free?
Do we got anything?
I just want to say GG's to the other team. Ace bets. My boy over on the other team. Sorry about the loss, but it was still good games. Took us to good series.
Yep, and that's all we all want to see is just a nice, good, fun series with teams duking it out. Thank you guys so much for the interview. That was Team Chills, Gumi, and Watcher. Thank you guys for the interview.
Cheers, guys.
Well, thank you.
And I do believe we'll be wrapping up this stream. That'll be the end of Week 4 Friday Draft League. We will be back again next week, same time, Week 5. So catch us then next week, 5 o'clock PST. See you then.
Bye, guys.